Chapter 1282. Ding dong. His 10 fingers plucked at the strings, but what he played wasn't the divine melody of 7 sins, but a peerless, and domineering zither tune. The tune reverberated and spread to the entire world. Everyone who heard it could naturally see a picture scroll in their mind. An emperor sat in the 9 heavens. Beneath him, billions of beings and thousands of races submitted and prostrated at his feet. That kind of loneliness, that kind of domineering emperor's might, that kind of spirit that could decide the laws of heaven and earth with a single word, were deeply imprinted in the hearts of every cultivator and demon god who listened to the zither tune. Naturally, it produced an irresistible soul imprint. That was a heart of worship towards one's own emperor. It could not arouse any killing intent at all. It shook their own souls. On the entire battlefield, all the cultivators, even the peerless and half-step sovereigns, couldn't help but temporarily stop the slaughter in their hands, and a look of struggle appeared on their faces. As Di Shirtian entered the chaos, the zither tune continued to reverberate in his ears. After a long time, he slowly turned around. What a terrifying zither tune! With one tune, the whole world submits, and no one dares to disobey. If I continue to listen, I'm afraid I'll have to kneel at the feet of the shifter emperor and become his most loyal subject. What kind of divine tune is this? What I see is a supreme emperor, and this is the will of the shifter emperor. This tune really has the spirit of an emperor descending upon the world. Countless cultivators exclaimed in shock. They were deeply shocked by the sound of the guqin. But after turning around, the slaughter still didn't stop. The 3 shifter race primogenitors, the water ancestor, the mountain ancestor, and the night ancestor. With steady steps, he charged into the battlefield. In the chaos, waves of domineering dragon roars rang out as the primordial 9 dragons pulled the incomparably noble celestial emperor's chariot into the chaos battlefield at an astonishing speed. The zither tune, which carried the will of a sovereign descending upon the world, instantly spread out, covering the entire battlefield and into the ears of every sovereign expert. At the scene, almost all the primordial supremes and demon ancestors felt a monstrous emperor's aura rush toward them. It was as if they were suddenly facing a terrifying, ferocious beast. Even their sovereign wills were faintly shaken. This song was called the Sovereign's Descent. Only the emperor could do it. Shifter Emperor, it's you. You have finally shown yourself. Everyone on the battlefield focused their attention on Di Shirtian. The heart-devouring demon ancestor's eyes were filled with boundless hatred as he let out a soft laugh. The 7 primordial sovereigns, who had been quietly standing on the sovereign god domain without moving, couldn't help but have a strange expression on their faces. At the same time, the huge eternal celestial world also stood quietly opposite the sovereign god realm. Aha! Demon Emperor, I knew that you wouldn't just stand by and watch. I don't want these humans to bring shame to my purple gold mainland. He actually fled at the last minute. Tui. Under the attacks of the 3 demon ancestors, the demon master could not help but laugh out loud when he saw Di Shirtian appear. His words were filled with disdain for the human race. Ding! The sound of the zither suddenly stopped. Di Shirtian waved his hand and retrieved 7 sins. He looked at the battlefield and glanced at the human ancestor. He said calmly, "Don't misunderstand. My demon race has already left the purple gold mainland. The human race is the main character of the purple gold mainland. Unfortunately, the main character chosen by the heavens seems to be too weak. It's only natural for them to flee at the last minute. However, I'm not helping the purple gold mainland. I'm just fighting an unfinished battle with the demon god in the ancient times. This battle belongs to my demon race. Heart-devouring, fallen, in the ancient times I didn't have the strength to fight with you." Clang! Roar! On the golden tiger soul, a golden tiger god roared at the sky, exuding a monstrous battle intent. It turned and entered the blade. The slender blade naturally appeared in front of Di Shirtian's right hand. As long as he stretched out his hand, he could hold this peerless weapon in his hand. The blade was constantly vibrating and emitting a low tiger roar. It was exuding a bloodthirsty aura. Just by standing quietly on the chariot, it exuded an unparalleled sharpness that was hard to look at. Peak Heaven, rank Demon Soldier. Good. Shifter Emperor, you were able to survive in the life and death desolation domain back then. This time, I will fulfill your wish. Sky Demon Blade, the heart-devouring demon ancestor, who looked almost identical to Bewitching Heart, exuded a terrifying chill on her perfect face. A slender white ribbon appeared on her arm. This ribbon was as thin as a cicada's wing, but there seemed to be billions of demon girls gathered on it. As it danced, the demon girls danced gracefully. It caused the chaotic aura to churn violently. The edges of the ribbon were abnormally sharp. Terrifying cracks were silently sliced open in the chaotic aura. The Sky Demon Blade danced, and billions of demon girls walked out from the ribbon. Similarly, the ribbon danced in their hands and enveloped the entire Celestial Emperor's chariot. Every strike was an attack on one's mind. It was as if one could see the countless heart demons attacking one's mind. One could see mountains of corpses and seas of blood. One could see the tragic deaths of one's parents. One's children were miserable. It was heart-wrenching. My words are the mandate of heaven. Light as the shield, holiness as the spear. Buddha light illuminates, destroy the heart demons, rotate the 5 elements, and suppress the chaos. Facing the Sky Demon Blade that swept over, even if he felt the fierce killing intent that was emitted from it, Sakura's expression still did not change. His mouth directly spat out a sentence with an emperor's might that seemed to be supreme in the world. There was an undisguised command in his voice. At the same time, there seemed to be a mysterious power spreading out along with his voice. Light, countless rays of pure and holy light instantly bloomed in front of the Celestial Emperor's chariot. In each ray of light, there seemed to be countless believers praying devoutly, giving out the most beautiful blessings. They condensed into a huge shield and let out a loud prayer sound. At the same time, numerous Buddhas appeared on the shield, radiating dazzling Buddha light. Under this pure and dense Buddha light, all the heart demons let out terrifying cries and melted away. Holy spears bombarded the Sky Demon Blade. They directly enveloped the heart-devouring demon. Each battle spear contained holy will, Taoist rhymes, and precepts. With one strike, it was as if these were strips of divine great Tao that were almost tangible. This was an offensive technique that only sovereigns could achieve. For example, the heart-devouring demon lord had mastered the heart demon great path. Each strike could carry the precepts of the heart demon great path to attack at will. However, this was only one type of heart demon great path. Even if one could master other great path precepts, they could only affect them slightly. They could not control them as easily as one's own great path. However, Deshirtion had done it. Rumble. The Sky Demon Blade danced wildly. Countless illusory ribbons collided with the battle spears, and a terrifying roar sounded. A huge millstone shining with 5 elements light appeared above the heart-devouring demon lord's head and came down on her. In the huge millstone, one could see 5 deity puppets formed by 5 great paths sitting within. It was suppressed. Chaos collapsed. Break! The heart-devouring demon lord's black hair danced wildly. A pitch-black demonic light flashed in her hand, and a crescent moon-shaped demonic saber slashed at the huge millstone with lightning speed. A terrifying vibration sounded. The heart-devouring demon lord's demonic body shook violently. She was pushed hundreds of thousands of feet away, and the 5 elements millstone crumbled. The power of the Supreme Emperor's speech was fully displayed after becoming sovereign. This is the Supreme Emperor's speech? It is indeed powerful. However, Shifter Emperor, you can't withstand our attacks. Kill. The moment the heart-devouring demon ancestor was beaten down, a pitch-black devil sword pierced towards the Sakura's forehead. The speed of the sword was so fast that it was shocking. The The depraved aura was able to drill into the flesh of the Sakura. The tip of the sword was only a few inches away from his forehead. He could feel the coldness of the sword. Freeze! Tion spat out a clear word. As the words left his mouth, the fallen demon's sword actually stopped moving from its original speed. It froze in the air, unable to move forward. At the same time, Tion spat out another word, break. Rumble. The chaos outside, the demonic sword collapsed, and a terrifying destructive force erupted. Countless traces of the laws of heaven and earth flashed, and all of them surged towards the demonic sword, pushing it away. It seemed like it was going to fly away. However, the depraved demon lord took advantage of the situation to retrieve it. Every word carried great power. Everything in heaven and earth was in the heart. A word could be the law of heaven and earth, and everything in the universe was in control. Shifter Emperor, you killed our supreme, divine realm's judgment sovereign. You were lucky to escape that day, but this time it will be your death. A just cause enjoys abundant support, while an unjust cause finds little support. To deal with you, we don't need to follow the rules. Kill. Rumble. The radiant deity king in a snow-white robe left the divine realm with a holy light. He held a scepter in his hand and waved it at Tion, releasing a holy light. A huge ancient star appeared in the chaos, and the light it released could not be covered by the chaos. In the blink of an eye, it condensed into a huge radiant battle sword. It fell from the sky. Divine heavenly punishment. Under the terrifying heavenly punishment sword, it was as if everything that did not belong to the light was heretic, and all heretics would be destroyed. Under the light, evil exists forever. The heavens are guilty, the earth is guilty, and all living things in heaven and earth are guilty. Evil shall not be destroyed, and light shall be destroyed. Tion spat out another sentence without hesitation. As soon as his voice fell, endless black, evil chi was spat out from the chaos. In the blink of an eye, it condensed into a huge skull, and it let out a heavenly sound of evil. It revealed a ferocious gaze, and it charged towards the divine heavenly punishment. The radiant battle sword was spat out by the skull, and then it was destroyed. Shifter Emperor, I, darkness, will fight you. The dark goddess said this sentence with a cold face. A pitch-black battle sword suddenly appeared in her hand, and her figure flashed, and she mysteriously disappeared into the chaos. To be continued. If you like this work, you're welcome to come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1283. Darkness was omnipresent, and there was nothing it did not exist in. With a move, he shuttled through the chaos and appeared directly in front of Sakura at an astonishing speed. The pitch-black battle sword pierced toward his heart. At the same time, there wasn't a trace of murderous aura, nor was there any fluctuation. It was as if it had appeared out of thin air in front of him. It was the most gentle killing sword. Oomph! Tion's right hand suddenly grabbed the golden tiger soul beside him and stabbed it towards his back, as if he was stabbing into nothingness. Ding! However, at the same time, the tip of a pitch-black sword emerged from the shadow and collided with the tiger's soul, producing a crisp sound of killing. The killing sword in front of him pierced through his heart like an illusion. It did not cause any damage and disappeared into thin air as if it had never existed. The figure of the dark goddess was directly sent flying out of the shadow by the blade. Today you shall die. Nirvana sword diagram. Forefather Terminator's body exuded a terrifying aura of death. His cold face exuded an unconcealable killing intent. An ancient scroll appeared in his hand, and he quickly opened it. In the scroll, there were withered sword lotuses. Those sword lotuses were extremely lively. With a slight tremble, the sword diagram immediately spat out billions of terrifying Nirvana sword chi and swept towards Tion. Every sword chi was capable of shattering the chaos. The entire chaos seemed to wither under the sword chi. At the same time, a pitch-black demonic gate appeared above the fallen demon ancestor's head. Countless mysterious figures of the fallen demon god appeared on the gate and exuded an immeasurable amount of terrifying power. It directly suppressed D. Shurtian's head. Under the fallen demon gate, the chaos was shattered into dust. 10,000 demon seal. In the heart-devouring demon ancestor's hand, a pitch-black seal flew into the air and smashed towards D. Shurtian, as if it wanted to crush him into meat paste. In the seal, one could see countless living beings lost in their inner demons, releasing endless power of inner demons and fear, causing the power of the seal to increase infinitely. In an instant, the entire chaos was violently shaking. Countless places were experiencing the most terrifying chaos storms. Vaguely, it was as if the entire chaos was about to collapse in a battle. The heart-devouring Devil Lord, the fallen Devil Lord, the radiant God King, Forefather Terminator, and the Dark Goddess. A total of 5 Dominator rank experts attacked D. Shurtian crazily at the same time. Each attack could shatter billions of worlds. For a moment, D. Shurtian, who had fallen into the attack, was like a small boat in the ocean. It was in danger of being completely overturned at any time. Who dares to kill my brother? Brother Shurtian, let me help you. The primal chaos raged, and a condensed sword light directly pierced into the primal chaos. Within the sword light, a slender figure with a sharp sword intent broke through the air, holding a black iron battle sword in his hand. The moment he appeared, he directly slashed at the Dark Goddess in a domineering manner. Rumble! Billions of miles of primal chaos were cleaved apart, and countless laws were rioting. The sword light was incomparably condensed, and a terrifying sword shadow was drawn out billions of miles. It appeared above the Dark Goddess' head, and suddenly, a pitch-black banner appeared above the Dark Goddess' head. It was like a curtain of darkness, and it had an unparalleled defensive power. It blocked the sword light and constantly wore down the sword chi within, preventing it from falling. Another successor of the divine tomb, the Dark Goddess glanced at the sword demon, who suddenly appeared with a solemn expression. Rumble! At this moment, the primal chaos shook again, and a vast river appeared out of thin air. The river seemed abnormally illusory, and countless images flashed continuously in it, moving forward without stopping. There was a dense aura of time in it, and a purple figure stood quietly above the river of time. Above her head, a pagoda was constantly bobbing up and down. You, the demon ancestor, and the primordial sovereign joined forces to besiege the shifter emperor of my race. Do you think my shifter race has no experts? She slowly spat out a sentence, and a slender finger directly poked at the radiant God King. In between her fingers, one could capture the traces of time. This was a power that was close to the Tao. In between her fingers, the condensed power of laws seemed to be able to annihilate heaven and earth in time. Clang! A golden token appeared in the divine light of Light's hand. The token exuded a boundless aura of light. It blocked the jade finger with a crisp sound. The token spewed out holy flames of light, as if it wanted to burn everything. It purified the heretics. However, it was unable to burn the jade finger. Instead, it was sent 1,000,000 miles away by a domineering force. Ha! You have finally come out from your seclusion since ancient times. Good. Today, you and I will fight side by side. Let's see what these demon ancestors and primordial sovereigns can do to me. The demon master let out a hearty laugh, and with the aura of the Lord of Diabolism, he smashed his fists at the group of demons that were besieging him. The one who came was Ziue, and the phantom of a divine tomb loomed behind her. Good. Give me more. The great void God King was still standing in the sky above the deity realm, watching the increasingly intense battle. There was an inexplicable cry in his mind, and there was a trace of inexplicable anticipation in his eyes. Who dares to touch my brother? A towering pillar of the great path rushed straight into the chaos. Within the pillar, a terrifying aura that seemed to be able to devour everything was exuded. The surrounding chaos chi was swept into it like a tide. A young man in a green robe had a brilliant ancient lamp on his shoulder that radiated light. His face was filled with anger. The devouring great Tao, another descendant of the divine tomb. Who are you? The dreamy goddess's expression changed slightly, and she slowly uttered a sentence. Demon clan, Di Tianyu. The young man's black hair fluttered in the wind, and he raised his eyebrows and said calmly, "Good, very good. The Zijin continent is indeed a place of hidden dragons and crouching tigers. Are there any other sovereigns? Show yourselves. At my level, any conspiracy is useless. If you want to fight, now is the time." The great void god king's body flickered and intertwined with countless gods around him, and they sang mysterious praises. He was the noblest king of gods in the world. Every word was like the law of heaven and earth, with supreme majesty. As you wish. An ancient divine diagram broke through the air from the Zijin continent and entered the chaos battlefield. Countless figures of gods and demons appeared in the diagram. There were primordial gods and demons of various races. Countless skeletons were piled up, and powerful gods and demons guarded every area. Each of them surged with a huge amount of power that intertwined with each other and turned into a magical power of gods and demons. One could clearly hear the ancient heavenly voices of gods and devils within the painting. As soon as they appeared, the entire battlefield seemed to be filled with an aura of destruction. A burly man wearing a beast hide stood proudly above the diagram, radiating a heroic and boundless aura. His aura was so powerful that even the sovereigns felt like they were suffocating. Ancestor of the demon clan, Gu Tianxiong, you are indeed skilled. You used the remains of primordial gods and countless demon gods to refine such a powerful treasure, the diagram of gods and demons. You have become a sovereign. When the great void god king saw Gu Tianxiong, his pupils shrank violently. He said in a low voice, "The demon clan is indeed incomparable to the human clan. There are actually 4 sovereigns in one clan. I can't help but be amazed. However, if I'm not wrong, there should be another lord of the divine tomb who hasn't appeared yet." Crack! A bright flash of lightning flashed. In the chaos, a purple eye opened out of thin air. In the eye, a middle-aged man in a black robe with no expression on his face slowly walked out. He naturally exuded a terrifying aura. It was as if he wasn't a cultivator, but a divine punishment. With a glance, he could judge heaven and earth and punish all living beings. "Are you looking for me?" The middle-aged man walked into the battlefield and glanced at the great void god, king, expressionlessly. He exuded boundless majesty as he questioned coldly. "Lord of heavenly punishment, you are indeed the one who obtained a divine tomb. Very good, everyone is finally here. It's time to end this." The great void, god, king slowly looked at the battlefield. Almost all the sovereigns in the entire chaos world had gathered in this battlefield. The lawless demon ancestor, the limitless sky demon ancestor, the faceless demon ancestor, the lifeless demon ancestor, the fallen demon ancestor, the heart-devouring demon ancestor, the netherworld demon ancestor, the blood prison demon ancestor, and the destruction demon ancestor. The great void god king, the terminator ancestor, the illusion goddess, the radiant god king, the dark goddess, the flower lien prince, the soul sovereign, the wisdom goddess, the demon lord, the fate god, the space god, the sword demon, the time god Ziyu, the devouring god Di Tianyu, the primogenitor of the demon race, the human ancestor, the Qian god, the ghost emperor of Fengdu, and the lord of heavenly punishment. Di Shitian, the blood god, the weapon ancestor. A total of 31 sovereigns were gathered here. Usually, it was difficult to see even one sovereign, but now, 31 sovereigns were gathered in the chaos. If this scene were to appear in the heavens, countless cultivators would be scared to death. This scene was too terrifying. It was a scene that would be difficult to recreate even in a lifetime. This was practically the most powerful gathering in the chaos. Great Void God King, Fateless, what are you trying to do? Do you really want to go that far? Are you crazy? If you really do that, you will bring harm to the entire chaos. When the Space Dominus heard the great Void God King's words, his expression changed drastically, and he let out an angry roar. He seemed to have sensed what they were trying to do. That legend might not be true. Who knows what the final outcome will be if it really happens? If it doesn't succeed, not only the chaos, but even we will be annihilated. I told you to give up on this idea in the ancient times, but you still haven't given up completely. The demon lord was enraged. He widened his eyes and roared coldly. Have you considered the consequences? The chief sovereign of fate simply asked. His weathered eyes exuded an indescribable expression. The human ancestor will lead the way for us. The fateless demon lord said expressionlessly. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1284. Unknowingly, the battle had stopped. The battlefield was silent. They exuded an extremely solemn aura. It was strangely stifling. This stifling aura came from the 31 sovereigns. If Peerless World was among them, his mind would crumble and he would die. Clearly, there was an unusual secret hidden within. The primordial sovereigns and the 11 demon ancestors stood on one side. The human ancestor, the god of money, and the eternal heaven domain stood on the other side. Tion and the demon master stood on the other side. It was a tripartite confrontation. The atmosphere was extremely stifling. The demon master's cold face flashed with anger. His demonic hair swayed without wind, cutting the surrounding chaos into pieces. His eyes were filled with anger and killing intent as he looked at the human ancestor and the demon ancestor. He scolded, "Void, Wooming, are you guys crazy? Do you know the consequences of doing that? Once it begins, we and all life in the entire chaos will suffer a calamity of annihilation. Are you guys really going to throw caution to the wind?" There was an inexplicable anger in his words. The Void Deity King snorted. Back then, the primordial sovereigns, the demon ancestor, and the purple gold continent had a discussion. We gathered all forces to reunite the purple gold continent and the demon god continent, fusing them to become immemorial and lead us out of the chaos. But you guys just had to mess things up. Otherwise, there wouldn't be endless wars between the purple gold continent and the demon god continent. We have been trapped in the chaos for more than 10,000 years. We can't see the way forward, and we can't make any progress. We are not willing to take this step, but we have no choice. Bullshit. The Space Dominator's aged face was filled with rage as he cursed. It's true that the purple gold continent and the devil god continent originated from the same source. However, when they were being nurtured, they were split into two by an axe. In the end, they each absorbed the primal chaos energy and evolved into two continents. That axe had long since cut off the opportunity to become an immemorial ancient. Furthermore, the two continents had different fates. One was righteous while the other was demonic. If they were to forcefully merge, the chances of success will be less than 1 in 10,000. Even if you fuse with them, you won't be able to become an ancient. How can we possibly agree to that? That anger came from the bottom of his heart. It was clear that there were many secrets hidden within the sovereign level that the world didn't know about. So that's how it is. Tion listened attentively and did not miss anything. In their conversation, he faintly touched upon a secret that even Peerless had no way to touch upon. Suddenly, a burst of cheerful laughter sounded in his heart. "Brother Tion, the prison head is back." In Nether Prison, a huge blood dragon broke through the sky from the gate of hell. Its eyes flashed with a trace of confusion, and then a trace of lingering fear emerged. Madman D, I Ming have finally returned. I knew you would absolutely not allow me to perish. Good. I didn't expect you to be able to find the remnant pages of the underworld book that I left behind and even create the gates of hell. This time, I've come back from the dead. So many sovereigns. A familiar voice rang out in Nether Prison. It was none other than Ming. Refining the gates of hell, collecting the soul imprints, Using countless soul fragments as nourishment, he forcefully rebirthed it once more, reviving it once more. Not only that, after absorbing the memory imprint given to him by Indra, he instantly understood everything and couldn't help but laugh maniacally. Yes, it's good that you're back. Tion didn't say much, but continued to listen to the conversation outside. Vaguely, he had understood the real source of the war between the two continents. Hiss! Ming widened his eyes, deeply shocked by everything in front of him. He cried out, "The big picture! This is an earth-shattering big picture that includes the entire chaotic world and countless creatures. Even a war between the two continents is a part of it. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have believed it was true." The earth-shattering war that had lasted for countless years was caused by a single decision of these supreme existences. If this news were to spread, it would be enough to silence the world. That's right. The purple gold continent has two sides. Fusing them is as difficult as ascending to the ancient era. Moreover, to ascend to the ancient era, one needs to obtain 3,000 primordial purple clouds to fuse with the 3,000 great Daos, transforming the laws into principles. That axe strike from back then had already severed the connection with primordial chaos, making it difficult to ascend. Therefore, we have long given up on the idea of fusing the two continents. Time and time again, the war was just to force you to show yourselves. Lifeless demon Ancestor naturally revealed an aura, as if he had everything under control. A trap. This was an earth-shattering big picture. A big picture that the primeval supremes and the demon Ancestor had plotted for countless years. Realization flashed through the fate sovereign's eyes. No wonder the primeval supremes were forced by the monster race in the ancient era to make an alliance. In the end, you didn't participate in the war. No wonder the demon god continent didn't kill the monster race's primeval supremes and the other race's primeval supremes. The demonic ancestor of the netherworld, who was dressed in a pitch-black demonic robe, had a cold smile on his old face as he said, "That's right. If we didn't do this, how could we hide from your eyes and force your violet gold continent to give birth to more experts? Those primogenitors are all existences that have a chance to break through to the sovereign realm. A great calamity was enough to force out their potential. Who would have thought that the one to truly become a sovereign would be the monster race's primeval supremes, Gu Tianxiong?" Every sentence contained the deepest secrets of the primordial chaos. These were secrets that not even the world could know about. Nether, who had just been reborn, trembled with fear as she listened. She could clearly feel the spirit of the ancient era's big picture. Time and time again, the earth-shattering war was just to force the cultivators of the purple gold continent to desperately advance and break through. Every war was to force the fate sovereign and the other supreme existences to come out and fight. The calculations behind this could be said to be extremely brilliant. They were all interconnected and watertight. If not for the war between the two continents, the fate sovereign and the others wouldn't have appeared so easily. If not for the external pressure, how could so many shocking geniuses have appeared in such a short time? The person who had set this up had already planned every part of the big picture to the extreme. It was an extremely brilliant plan that targeted the netherworld demon ancestor and the others, who couldn't stay out of it and watch as the purple gold continent fell. Void, fateless, with your abilities, it's impossible for you to set up such a big picture. If I'm not wrong, the one who set this up should be the goddess of wisdom. Where is she? Why hasn't she shown herself yet? The fate sovereign didn't seem to be moved by these words. His eyes, filled with the vicissitudes of life, were filled with endless depth. Fate really is fate. What brilliant insight. The Void God King looked meaningfully at the fate sovereign and said slowly. The netherworld demon ancestor took a deep breath and asked in a low voice, using life and death to force out so many sovereigns, "Do you really plan to destroy the primordial chaos?" "Not me, but us." The deathless demon ancestor laughed coldly. "It's impossible that you haven't noticed that this primordial chaos can no longer allow us to reach the next level. the primordial divinity realm. Destroying the primordial chaos is our only choice. The amount of power required to destroy the primordial chaos isn't something that can be achieved by a few autarchs and demon ancestors. If you don't want to participate, then we'll force you to. You have no choice. These words were filled with a cold aura. It was a terrifying temperament that could cause the destruction of all things in the world without batting an eyelid. You've all gone mad. You must know that the primordial chaos nurtures the primordial chaos and has existed since time immemorial. There are countless primordial chaos realms within the primordial chaos. Once the primordial chaos is destroyed, then if we can't find the ancient celestial realm, all life in the primordial chaos will be annihilated in an instant. To us, the primordial chaos is poison. If we really want to destroy the primordial chaos, we can appear anywhere in the primordial chaos. Perhaps we're infinitely far away from the ancient celestial realm. Doing so is tantamount to playing with fire. The netherworld demon Ancestor roared furiously. The primordial chaos was like shackles, but it was also a kind of invisible protection. In the primordial chaos was like bubbles or stars. There were only endless laws in the primordial chaos. Before comprehending the laws, once exposed to the primordial chaos, one would be turned into dust in an instant. It was really like being poisoned to death. They had entered the dead chaotic sea one after another, but it wasn't that they didn't gain anything. The things they obtained had already broadened their horizons. They had already dabbled in many things that were unknown in the primordial chaos. Naturally, they knew how dangerous it was. If we weren't confident, why would we do such a desperate thing? I'm afraid you don't know the true origin of a human ancestor. The deathless demon Ancestor suddenly laughed as his gaze landed on the human ancestor. He has been in contact with you for a long time. Gu Tianxiong's eyes swept over the human ancestor as he coldly shouted, "Traitor!" The human ancestor? The experts from the purple gold continent looked at the human ancestor and the eternal celestial realm expert behind him with a strange gaze. I'm afraid you didn't expect it. The fallen demon Ancestor laughed mockingly. The human ancestor has been in contact with us since the ancient era. He was the one who took the initiative to find us. If it weren't for him, this trap wouldn't have appeared. His identity isn't ordinary. He's a human-shaped stone in the eternal celestial realm that absorbed the essence of heaven and earth and the faith of all living beings. He eventually fell into the primordial chaos after being affected by the war. However, his connection with the eternal celestial realm didn't disappear. He's the bridge between the primordial chaos and the eternal celestial realm. As long as the primordial chaos is destroyed, the passage will naturally open and enter the eternal celestial realm. Every sentence was like a 1,000-pound hammer that directly hammered on one's mind. Every sentence revealed a secret that had been planned for hundreds of millions of years. It was a secret that no expert below the sovereign realm would know. If it was spread out, it would stir up a boundless storm. This was a true secret that couldn't be spread. To be continued. If you like this work, you're welcome to come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1285. The destruction of chaos will definitely cause countless living beings to shatter at the same time. When it shatters, the barrier between the purple gold continent and the demon god continent will not be able to withstand it. You will be sending all of you to your deaths. Gu Tianxiong said coldly. The destruction of the primordial chaos was not a tide of annihilation, but a true storm of destruction. Everything in the primordial chaos would completely collapse. The terrifying destructive power was enough to instantly tear apart the barriers of the entire world and crush all life in every continent. This was the destruction brought about by the collapse of the laws of the world. Perhaps the sovereigns could survive, but the world would be crushed in an instant. Beneath the sovereigns, all are ants. How can the life of an ant stop us from moving forward? The blood prison demon Ancestor let out a sinister and strange laugh. Soft-hearted, the Ancestor, the void sky demon, sneered with an unruly expression. I knew that you sovereigns from the purple gold continent were bound by something. We have long been prepared. The grand plan has already begun. It will be very difficult for you to shrink back now. That's right. The grand plan has already reached the final step. 31 sovereigns have gathered. With such power, it is time to break the chaos. Great Void Tao Domain, appear. The Great Void Divine King was surrounded by dazzling divine brilliance, and his divine might was like a prison. Billions of divine lights shot out from every pore of his body, and outside his body, they intertwined with traces of the divine charm of the Great Void. The massive Dharma of the Great Void gathered outside his body, and in the blink of an eye, it covered 1,000,000 miles of chaos. In this area, the chi of chaos turned into nothingness. The Great Void was like heaven and earth. Every strand of the Great Void Tao pattern could be seen clearly. Numerous Great Void Tao wheels formed in the precept domain. On each wheel sat a deity, exuding the extreme power of the Great Void. In the Great Void Tao domain, there was no Great Tao other than the Great Void. This was a pure Tao domain. It was the Great Tao of heaven and earth. When it reached the extreme, it rejected everything and was the embodiment of supremacy. Once it appeared, it was the Great Tao of heaven and earth that reigned supreme. All laws would submit. In the Great Void Tao domain, the Great Void, celestial king's godlike pressure surged like a tidal wave. In an instant, it filled the entire chaos. Rumble. In an instant, the chaos let out a violent roar and shook endlessly. It seemed to have touched the barrier of the chaos. As soon as the Tao domain appeared, the Great Void Deity King seemed to have the power to shatter the chaos. Tao domain? Taishu, you've gone mad. You actually used your precept domain. Do you want to fight to the death and shatter the primordial chaos? The Demon Master shouted. His expression began to change slightly. He was not the only one. Even Di Shirtian, Di Tianyu, and the rest had a change in expression. They could truly feel the determination of the Great Void Deity King. This was the attitude of someone who would not give up until they reached their goal. What a Great Void Deity King. What a shocking setup. He had actually used his precept domain. This is the sovereign's most powerful technique. Indra took a deep breath, his expression turning solemn. It should be known that once one reached the sovereign realm, it meant that one had grasped a great Tao. Dominating the world was a manifestation of one's comprehension of the great Tao. At the moment of ascension, one would naturally obtain an innate ability, and that was the ability to condense a Tao domain, releasing the great Tao that one had cultivated, transforming it into a Tao domain that was countless times stronger than a domain. Within a Tao domain, other than one's own great Tao, no other great Tao law could enter. Once it entered, it would not rest until one was dead. It would be directly annihilated. Once a Tao domain was released, unless one was a sovereign, any expert below the sovereign realm would not have the slightest ability to resist. No matter how strong one's technique was, it would not have any effect. A sovereign was above the heavenly Tao law. With their own great Tao, they could break all the laws in the world. They were like the heavenly Tao. If two sovereigns used their Tao domains at the same time, it would be equivalent to two heavenly Taos colliding. The heavenly Tao law would collapse, and the destructive power that erupted would be unparalleled. It was extremely terrifying. This was a battle between Tao and Tao. It would obliterate all laws. The damage caused to the primordial chaos would be irreparable. Kill. Today you have no choice but to fight. The primordial chaos is about to be destroyed. You can't avoid it. Lawless Tao domain, appear. The lawless demon master let out a shout. Outside his body, countless Tao radiances burst forth, interweaving into a unique lawless Tao domain. The Tao domain was filled with lawlessness. It repelled the laws in the primordial chaos and crushed them. Bloody hell, Tao domain, appear. Heart demon Tao domain, activate. Almost in an instant, all the primordial supremes and demon masters did not hesitate to condense their respective Tao domains. Every Tao domain that appeared was like a huge sun emerging from the primordial chaos. The radiance emitted directly penetrated the primordial chaos. The pressure that could topple the mountains and overturn the seas, almost in an instant, came crushing towards Sakura and the others from all directions. Under the Tao domain, there was a terrible illusion that they would be crushed to dust at any time. Quick, Lunatic D, quickly condense your Tao domain. This is a battle between Tao. There is no way to avoid it. Only by using Tao to suppress Tao can you resist the sharpness of the Tao domain. This time, the primordial supremes and demon masters have gone crazy. They will not give up. The primordial chaos cannot be saved. It is more important to protect ourselves first. Nether was so shocked that even his divine soul was about to jump out. He let out a loud cry in the Nether prison. Great Void God King, lifeless demon master, you will pay the price. A cold light flashed in D. Shirtian's eyes. Outside his body, countless purple gold divine radiance instantly spewed out, condensing into a purple gold supreme Tao domain. Within the Tao domain, 3,000 Dharma treasures and divine weapons were formed, emitting a dazzling divine radiance that penetrated the will of the ultimate emperor. In an instant, the released Tao rhymes caused the divine radiance of the surrounding Tao domains to dim. He was like the emperor of the Tao domain. Supremacy. Great Void, you will regret this. After this calamity, I will kill all of you. The demon master's black hair danced wildly as he let out an angry roar. The pitch-black radiance spewed out formed a tyrannical Tao domain in the blink of an eye. You all deserve to die for scheming against us. The Fate Sovereign's eyes were unusually sharp. With all the primordial supremes and demon masters displaying their Tao domains, D. Shirtian and Fate were forced to display their Tao domains at the same time. Rumble. 31 Tao domains appeared at the same time. The entire primordial chaos boiled. They penetrated every inch of the primordial chaos world. The countless warriors fighting in the blood-soaked purple gold continent were the first to see the phenomenon erupting from the primordial chaos. A cultivator looked up at the primordial chaos and cried out in shock, "What is that? How can there be suns in the primordial chaos? What enormous suns? What terrifying pressure? 1, 2, 3. Heavens, there are 31 suns. Am I hallucinating? Suns. The suns are colliding. Oh my God, what a terrifying pressure. Not even the unparalleled world has this kind of pressure. What's going on? Are we really going to enter the immeasurable calamity? Not good. Look at the primordial chaos. The primordial chaos is being destroyed. No, the laws. The chains of laws are breaking. What's going on? Countless experts sensed the changes in the primordial chaos. Some of the weaker ones were directly crushed to pieces by the pressure descending from the heavens. In their eyes, 31 enormous suns had appeared in the primordial chaos. Each of the suns emitted a terrifying radiance. Even the primordial chaos was trembling violently. Vaguely, one could hear the terrifying sound of laws shattering in the chaos. Bang, bang, bang. 31 enormous suns collided violently. Every time they collided, the entire primordial chaos would violently tremble. In the blink of an eye, large swaths of the primordial chaos seemed to be unable to withstand the terrifying pressure emitted by the suns. They crumbled and turned into a destructive storm that swept across the entire primordial chaos. The divine bridge of heaven and earth was affected. Some demon gods and cultivators were instantly crushed as if the bridge was about to collapse. The demon ancestor has begun. All demon gods quickly return to the demon god continent. Resist the incoming destructive storm. The ancestral patriarch saw this and immediately issued an order. A large number of demon gods returned to the demon god continent at an astonishing speed. Not good. My husband just sent news. This great war that occurs once every 120,000 years is a conspiracy of the primordial sovereigns and the demon gods. They want to shatter the primordial chaos. Chunxi's expression changed drastically. Looking at the changes in the primordial chaos, he issued a decisive order. Quick, all demon race experts, inject your power into the demon court. All demon race and all other races can take refuge in the demon court. Rumble. The demon court suddenly erupted with a shocking divine radiance. Beams of dazzling divine light rapidly swept across the entire battlefield. Wherever they passed, countless demon race warriors were swept into the city, followed by a large number of cultivators from other races. At the same time, they rapidly streaked across the purple gold continent. Wherever they went, all flowers, plants, and trees were swept into the demon court. My goodness, the primordial chaos is about to be destroyed. Is our purple gold continent really going to be destroyed in this calamity? This is too terrifying. Are there really sovereign realm experts fighting in the primordial chaos? What a terrifying destructive power. Could it be that this was all caused by them? Countless cultivators let out cries of despair. Rumble. Large swaths of the primordial chaos were crumbling at a speed visible to the naked eye. The heavens and earth wailed. Countless primordial chaos fragments formed a vortex that swept together into pitch-black destructive storms. They swept in all directions. Wherever they passed, the laws of heaven and earth collapsed, and the primordial chaos was destroyed. Several of them swept directly toward the purple gold continent. On the purple gold continent, a purple gold barrier shot out. It was as if it was solid. One could clearly see countless laws shuttling back and forth. Pillars of the great Tao stood straight, supporting the heavens and earth. The barrier that supported the heavens and earth. One could see that it was a complete crystal cover. Countless Tao patterns were intertwined. Rumble. The destructive storms, with endless destructive power, directly collided with the heavens and earth barrier. On the spot, the entire purple gold continent was like a small boat in the storm, violently shaking from the collision. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1286. Rumble. This was an unprecedented calamity. The purple gold continent, which had always been as stable as a mountain, was constantly shaking in the destructive storm. Billions of lightning bolts flashed wildly in the void of the continent, emitting a destructive aura, as if foretelling the end of the continent. This was the true arrival of the apocalypse. Crack! The destructive storm grew more and more violent, and the chaos shattered one after another. In the blink of an eye, the number of destructive storms condensed into an even greater number, all of them crashing into the purple gold continent. The 3,000 heavenly pillars of the Great Path emitted dazzling light of the laws. They stood tall and firmly supported the barrier between heaven and earth. On the barrier outside the continent, one could clearly hear a series of terrifying shattering sounds ringing out one after another. Ferocious cracks appeared on the barrier one after another. The 3,000 pillars of heaven were trembling. Not good. The barrier of the purple gold continent can't hold on much longer. Cracks have already appeared. What a terrifying destructive storm. Is the apocalypse really coming this time? The chaos is shattering. Is this the destructive power of a clash between rulers? Don't tell me they don't care about all the living beings in the chaos. The heavens are collapsing. The heavens are really collapsing this time. Even the heavens are about to collapse. Who can save us? The demon court. Quick! The demon court is taking in all the cultivators of the various races. Quick, take me in. It's too late. It's too late. The entire world is about to collapse. Look, cracks have appeared on the pillars of heaven. The heavens are collapsing. When the countless cultivators on the purple gold mainland saw this terrifying scene, they couldn't hide the fear in their eyes as they let out terrified cries. The cracks on the barrier of heaven and earth were increasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, a part of the barrier at the edge of the purple gold continent crumbled like porcelain. The pitch-black destructive storm instantly swept in, and a huge hole appeared as if the heavens were collapsing. Countless living beings and cultivators were exposed to the destructive storm. They didn't even have the chance to scream before they were annihilated by the storm. Despair appeared on the faces of the countless spectators. Even if she was a peerless genius, even if she had lived through the ages, when the heavens collapsed, the blood of billions of living beings would flow. Ask the heavens, who could stop the heavens from collapsing? Some despairing cultivators raised their heads to the sky and cried out. The heavens were collapsing. This time, the sky had really fallen. At the same time that one part of the barrier began to shatter, the other parts of the barrier also began to crack and collapse. Countless destructive storms swept into the purple and gold mainland. Countless cultivators and geniuses were unable to resist these storms and were instantly turned into dust. With the billions of years of fortune accumulated by the soul race, I give back to the heavens and earth. The forbidden soul lamp shall illuminate the heavens and earth and protect all living beings. A mysterious island emerged from the void. This island was filled with a worrisome aura. It was as if one's soul wanted to worship it. Ding, ding, ding. He couldn't see the true face of the island in the fog. However, one could clearly see an ancient purple lantern rising straight into the sky from the island. Boundless purple light bloomed from the lantern, spreading out in all directions. As the light spread out, countless figures of souls appeared within the lantern, devoutly praying. It was like a huge purple sun rising high into the sky. All the cultivators who were bathed in the light felt that their souls had been calmed, and they were no longer afraid of the scene before them. Wherever the light went, the destructive storms could no longer continue to spread and wreak havoc. With the billions of years of fortune accumulated by the beast race, I give back to the heavens and earth. The barbaric beast lamp shall illuminate the heavens and earth and protect the purple and gold mainland. Rumble. In the beast race's encampment, an ancient lantern rose slowly from the beast race's encampment. It also bloomed with brilliant light and spread its light to the heavens and earth. Countless figures of the beast race flashed in the light, presenting a vast history of the beast race's civilization. It appeared at the border of the purple and gold mainland. It supported the heavens and earth. With the billions of years of fortune accumulated by the ghost race, I give back to the heavens and earth. The netherworld ghost lamp shall illuminate the heavens and earth and protect all living beings. A cold voice suddenly appeared. A figure in black stood in the void. An ancient lantern on his shoulder bloomed with brilliant divine light. He directly flew up from Xianming's shoulder and flew to another region of the purple and gold mainland. He used the brilliant light to support the heavens. With the billions of years of fortune accumulated by the zombie race, I give back to the heavens and earth. The spiritual coffin blood lamp shall illuminate the heavens and earth and protect the purple and gold mainland. In a remote region, a similar ancient lantern rose slowly and bloomed with endless crimson light. It also appeared in another region. It was like a crimson sun that supported the heavens and earth. With the billions of years of fortune accumulated by the star race, I give back to the heavens and earth. The sky-annihilating star lamp shall illuminate the heavens and protect the purple and gold mainland. An ancient lantern that emitted endless starlight appeared in the starry sky. It bloomed with endless starlight and instantly scattered across the heavens and earth. Once again, it guarded another region. It resisted the violent destructive storms outside the purple and gold mainland. With the billions of years of fortune accumulated by the three-eyed god race, I give back to the heavens and earth. The heaven-suppressing divine lamp shall illuminate the heavens and earth and protect the purple and gold mainland. On the myriad god island, a golden ancient lantern appeared again. It emitted endless golden light and endless divine power. In the blink of an eye, it appeared in another region. With the billions of years of fortune accumulated by the giant race, I give back to the heavens and earth. The Titan sky lamp shall illuminate the heavens and protect all living beings. In the giant mountain range, an ancient lantern that represented the giant race's boundless fortune soared into the sky at the same time. It also appeared in another empty region. In the blink of an eye, it shot out endless divine light and guarded another region. With the billions of years of fortune accumulated by the undead race, I give back to the heavens and earth. The undying bone lamp shall illuminate the heavens and earth and protect all living beings. An ancient lantern made of bones also appeared. It appeared in another region and emitted endless divine light. Inside, countless skeletons, bone beasts, and undead figures appeared in the light. They also supported the heavens and earth. In an instant, 8 ancient lanterns appeared from different places one after another. Each of the ancient lanterns looked almost exactly the same. However, the light they emitted was different. Swoosh! At this moment, another dark green ancient lantern broke through the void and appeared from the chaos. It appeared on the purple and gold mainland. The light it emitted was almost more intense than the other ancient lanterns. In a light that spread out, countless figures of the demon race flashed one after another, forming a vast history of the demon race's civilization. Countless demon race members let out bloodthirsty cries as they struggled to survive. That was the ancient suppression demon lantern. Each of the ancient lanterns was a touching history of the demon race's civilization. It's the 9 palace lanterns, the 9 palace lanterns of our purple and gold mainland. This is great. These ancient lanterns will definitely protect us to safely survive the terrible disaster of the chaos shattering. 9 ancient lanterns. The origins of these ancient lanterns are mysterious. They are the fortune treasures of the 9 races. The more prosperous a race is, the more powerful they are. These are the 9 most prosperous races of our continent. With their fortune, they might be able to protect our purple and gold. This is great. Look, the heavens and earth barrier is not shattering anymore. The 9 lanterns are indeed protecting the purple and gold. Countless cultivators looked at the ancient lanterns that appeared in surprise, as if they had seen a glimmer of light in the midst of despair. They could clearly see, on the entire purple and gold mainland, 9 mysterious ancient lanterns were guarding in 9 different directions. They were connected to each other in a strange way and were constantly revolving. They were like 9 suns, blocking all the destructive storms outside. They were like the protectors of the purple and gold mainland. Countless storms swept over the ancient lanterns and collided with the ancient lanterns, creating violent explosions. However, the 9 ancient lanterns were not destroyed. The lanterns were eternal, and the calamities would not come. Rumble. For a moment, the purple and gold mainland was calm. Countless cultivators looked outside and could clearly see that the chaos was rapidly collapsing. This was not an ordinary shattering, but a complete shattering. It was truly turning into nothingness, and there was no more chaos. The great Tao laws were breaking at an astonishing speed. The 31 suns were emitting light that was far more dazzling than ordinary great Tao laws. They were fighting and clashing with each other. They were the supreme beings of the laws. When supreme beings fought, it was natural for them to destroy the heavens and earth. The destructive storm spread throughout the chaos. In a short time, it completely collapsed. Taishu, Wuming, I will definitely kill you all. Dishur Tian saw the chaos collapsing and the scene of nothing, and his eyes revealed a cold expression. The killing intent in his heart directly penetrated through the past and present. No power could wash it away. Whether it was the ancient situation or the destruction of the chaos before him, it made his killing intent reach its peak. This kind of shattering was enough to make everything in the world enter the boundary of annihilation. It would also put the entire monster race and his friends and family in danger of dying. This was something he could not tolerate. When we reach the eternal heaven world, you guys will naturally have no value. By then, you guys will definitely not be able to continue living. Demon Ancestor Wuming said decisively. Human Ancestor, if you don't strike now, what are you going to do it? The chaos was about to be completely destroyed. Once it was destroyed, it would be exposed to the primordial chaos. At that time, it would be a true death. Right now, it was a most crucial step. The human ancestor slit his wrist. From his wrist, drops of golden blood sprayed out rapidly. However, they did not dissipate. Instead, they quickly formed a golden ancient formation. With the resentment of the billions of living beings in the chaos as a sacrifice, with my blood as a guide, and the destruction of the chaos as the sacrifice, open up the path to the eternal heaven world. Open. Rumble. Boundless blood chi of the living beings gushed into the ancient formation from all directions. Instantly, the ancient formation shone with a dazzling divine radiance, interweaving into countless mysterious formation runes. The endless destructive power of the destruction of the chaos gushed into the ancient formation like a tidal wave, becoming the strongest force to activate the ancient formation. Crack! The ancient formation expanded endlessly. With every bit of energy it devoured, it would expand by a fraction. In the blink of an eye, it was immeasurably huge. Within it, a huge crack appeared and expanded rapidly, turning into a huge passageway. Within the passageway, an unimaginable, devouring force could be felt. It engulfed the entire chaos. On the spot, the purple gold mainland, the demonic god mainland, and even Di Shurtion and the great void god king were sucked into the passageway. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1287. It was as if there was no power in the entire primal chaos that could resist the devouring power from the tunnel. Everything was sucked into the tunnel without any resistance. It was a terrifying power of loss. However, there were still two figures that did not move. The burly corpse demon carried a black coffin on his back. When the suction force from the passageway landed on his body, it was immediately blocked. It was unable to move his body at all. Even the power of the passageway could not pull him away. The other thing was an ancient crystal coffin. No power could land on the coffin. Go in. A clear voice came from the black coffin on Shurmo's back. As soon as he finished speaking, Shurmo didn't resist at all. He directly strode forward and stepped into the passage. We are finally going back. I wonder what the eternal heaven realm is like now. The group of sovereigns used all their wisdom to set up a plan to destroy the primal chaos and enter the eternal heaven realm. Perhaps the eternal heaven realm might not be what they imagined. Is it the beginning or the end? A deep voice came from the crystal coffin. He also turned into a ray of light and entered the tunnel. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the passageway, it was like a world of flowing light, flying forward with astonishing speed. When Indra entered, he could clearly feel an irresistible force enveloping him as he flew forward, unable to move at all. However, the speed of the tunnel was so fast that it did not give him a chance to feel the laws of the tunnel. In the blink of an eye, he was out of the tunnel. All of a sudden, he appeared in a strange world. Rumble. The purple gold continent, the demon god continent, the demon court, the eternal heaven realm, and the paragon god realm emerged from the tunnel and appeared in this foreign land. Lunatic D. Could it be that we've really entered the legendary ancient celestial world? Are we dreaming? We really succeeded. Quick, take a look at where we are. Dark cried out in shock and excitement. Eternal heaven realm. Sakura took a deep breath and instantly had a certain understanding of the situation outside his body. Just from the yuan chi of heaven and earth outside his body, it was Xiantian yuan chi. But what was strange was that within the yuan chi, there was a deathly stillness. Not only that, it wasn't as dense as he imagined. It even had traces of strange, chaotic aura. There was a strange guess in his heart. He quickly scanned his surroundings. In front of him was a vast expanse of heaven and earth. Even with his sovereign realm divine consciousness, he could not see the end of it. However, it was completely different from the eternal heaven realm that he had imagined. Scorched earth was everywhere on the ground. Countless terrifying scars of battle were imprinted on the ground. Between heaven and earth, a terrifying aura of destruction was constantly being emitted. The black chi of destruction permeated every inch of the void. Everywhere was a scene of desolation where not even a blade of grass grew. Faintly, one could see numerous areas of space collapsing and erupting with terrifying destructive force. This force was so strong that it was sufficient to obliterate a peerless existence. Broken limbs, broken arms, countless broken weapons, broken mountains, and broken rivers. In the air, one could still hear the sounds of killing from ancient times. Shattered fragments of laws could be seen everywhere, flickering and disappearing. This place didn't look like the legendary eternal celestial world at all. Instead, it looked more like a broken battlefield, a land of death without any life. No matter how vast it was, nothing could survive here. This was a land of death, a land of despair. This was a land of extinction where no one could cultivate. It wasn't as prosperous or prosperous as one would have imagined. In fact, it wasn't even filled with vitality that surpassed the primal chaos. There was only desolation. Human Ancestor, blood-prisoned Devil Lord, let out a furious roar. His eyes widened as he glared at the Human Ancestor. "Are you trying to fool me? Is this the Aeonic celestial world you were talking about?" He shouted. "Is this the Aeonic celestial world you were talking about? How could the eternal heaven realm be like this? Is this even a heaven realm? This is clearly a land of extinction. Laws, everything is broken. What kind of dodge asterisk T eternal heaven realm is this?" His voice was filled with endless anger and a trace of inexplicable fear. Everything in front of them gave them a bad premonition. "Human Ancestor, what's going on?" The great void, God, King suppressed the anger in his heart and asked, "Impossible. This is clearly the eternal heaven realm. This river is the great river of heaven. This mountain is clearly the Wuji God Peak. This is clearly the eternal heaven realm. I can't be wrong. How could it turn out like this? Primordial chaos. That's right, it's clearly the primordial chaos world outside." The Human Ancestor seemed to be shocked by everything before him. He raised his head and looked at the void outside this world. Indeed, he could see that it was a purple starry sky. It seemed to be endless, and there were bright stars twinkling in the starry sky. Purple chi surged in the starry sky. Those were strands of mysterious primordial chaos purple chi. That wasn't the starry sky, but the real primordial chaos world. Every star was a chaos world. The Human Ancestor took in a deep breath as his eyes shone with a strange glint. He mumbled to himself, could it be because of that great battle back then? To think that that great battle had truly destroyed the entire eternal heaven world. The entire heaven world was shattered, and this world was completely destroyed. It was no longer the heaven world, but the most desolate and desolate of continents. Could it be that the primordial chaos god has fallen? Words came out of his mouth one after another. He seemed to be searching for the true reason why the heaven realm turned into this state. The faces of the great void deity king, old ancestor Terminator, lifeless demon ancestor, and the others were like a die shop. Their faces alternated between red and white. It was an extremely interesting sight. Everything before them had completely overturned their expectations. Originally, they thought that once they entered the ancient celestial world, they would be able to achieve great things and push their cultivation base to the next level. That was the only hope they had when they shattered the chaos, and that was to enter the higher celestial world. But what was in front of them now? Heaven realm or ruins? In their hearts, they couldn't help but find it laughable. It was a comical thought. They had been searching for it their entire lives. They had even planned for thousands of years. They had given up everything. In the end, what they were searching for was just a pile of ruins before them. Laughable, truly laughable. After all their calculations, all they got was a pile of ruins before them. A pile of ruins that wasn't suitable for cultivation. It was an ancient battlefield. What was this? Was the heavens toying with them? The contrast before and after clashed with each other. If they weren't sovereigns, they would have gone completely crazy and collapsed. There was actually such a comical thing in the world. What they had chased for their entire lives was just a pile of useless ruins. Suddenly, The demon sovereign laughed wildly. His eyes were full of ridicule as he looked at the stunned demon sovereigns and sovereigns. He laughed contemptuously. Great void, lifeless, both of you have planned for thousands of years. In the end, it was just a pile of ruins. Now, you should be satisfied, right? Delightful. This is delightful. We have planned for the heavens and the earth, but in the end, it all fell on us. How interesting. The ghost emperor of Fengdu laughed twice. There was also ridicule in his voice. Rumble. At this moment, there was a violent tremor in the supreme god realm. A heavenly pillar of the great Tao shot straight into the sky. In the heavenly pillar, one could see countless laws transforming into even more mysterious laws. It was as if a god was being born between heaven and earth. The heavenly pillar only flashed and disappeared in the blink of an eye. A woman in a jade-green palace robe walked out of the divine realm. There was a layer of invisible fog on her face, and she exuded the charm of endless wisdom. Every step he took was like the sound of footsteps that came from the silent void, directly hitting his heart. Puff! After taking only 3 steps, Di Tianyu, who was standing beside Di Shirtian, trembled and spat out a mouthful of blood. Tianyu! Sakura naturally felt the terrifying pressure from Di Tianyu's body, but that pressure wasn't able to suppress him. When he saw Di Tianyu spit out a mouthful of blood, anger flashed in his eyes. His body shook, and 13 divine rings instantly appeared from his flesh and blood, quickly enveloping Di Tianyu within them. A light flashed in his hand, and the 7 sins demonic zither appeared in his hand. He fiercely plucked the strings. He waved his hand. Clang! The sound of a zither filled with the aura of an emperor surged into the clouds and exploded sharply, breaking the rhythm of the goddess of wisdom's body. Yao Emperor, you are indeed not bad. You are able to maintain your state of mind in my rhythm and forcefully interrupt me. You are indeed a peerless genius. Unfortunately, the goddess of wisdom continued with a trace of regret. You and I are no longer on the same level. After so many years, after escaping from the ancient war and drifting into the chaos world, I have finally completely recovered the cultivation of my previous life. The primordial supreme god. This sentence was like a heavy hammer that slammed into the hearts of all the rulers. The primordial supreme god. She was actually the primordial supreme god, a supreme existence in the primordial celestial realm. Congratulations on your return to the primordial supreme god realm. The great void, godly king, and the others respectfully bowed. Very good. I will remember your friendship. The heavenly maiden of wisdom nodded calmly. May I ask why the primordial celestial realm has become like this? Could this really be the primordial celestial realm? During the Great War, what kind of supreme treasure were we fighting for? To think that the primordial celestial realm would end up like this. The heavenly illusory goddess took a deep breath and asked with a strange expression. To think that the war back then would really destroy the entire primordial celestial realm. There was a trace of melancholy in the goddess of wisdom's words, as though she had sunk into her memories. It has been so long. What happened back then is no longer a secret. That was a forbidden treasure. Forbidden treasure. The master of fate was deep in thought. The primordial supreme god used an ancient supreme treasure. Above that, there are forbidden treasures. Forbidden treasures are one of a kind. Anyone who can get their hands on them will receive an unparalleled opportunity. To the primordial supreme god, it is extremely important. Furthermore, the item back then was the legendary, forbidden godly fetus. The goddess of wisdom mumbled to herself. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. Chapter 1288. Crack. A bolt of lightning tore through the dilapidated eternal celestial world. It was as though the heavenly goddess of wisdom's words had touched upon the taboo of the world, and the great Tao was issuing a warning. Great Tao, this is a matter of the past. No matter how many taboos there are, they can't affect the present. Since you don't want me to say it, I'm going to say it. The forbidden divine fetus is the reason why the eternal celestial world ended up in its current state. The heavenly goddess of wisdom raised her head to look at the void and let out a cold laugh. A forbidden divine fetus that was born in the primordial chaos. A divine fetus that could allow an ancient god to ascend as long as one could obtain it. If not for that, why would all the ancient gods in the celestial world take action at the same time? Why would countless races be dragged into this mess and end up in such a tragic state? When she spoke of this, her eyes revealed traces of fear. Clearly, she was recalling the scene of the Great Ancient War. Back then, she was the ancient supreme god. However, she was still beaten to death in the Great Ancient War. Eventually, she fell into the primordial chaos and reincarnated. It was only now that she had truly recovered. That battle was simply too terrifying. If one did not experience it personally, it would be impossible to understand the feeling of despair. It was simply too vicious. Heavenly Goddess, I don't dare to dream of obtaining the forbidden divine fetus. But now that the eternal celestial world is in such a state and is in ruins, it's not suitable for cultivation. I wonder if there are any other paths. The radiant God King took in a deep breath. The forbidden divine fetus was simply too far away from them. It was not something they could dream of obtaining. Their only hope was to find a suitable place for cultivation so that they could break through to a higher level. Perhaps the heavenly goddess of wisdom, who was born in the eternal celestial world, could give them an answer. The eternal celestial world is already destroyed. However, it's not impossible for there to be another eternal celestial world. The heavenly goddess of wisdom looked at D. Shurtion meaningfully. She seemed to be moving back and forth between him and the demon court. Not bad. The paragons were awakened on the spot. Their eyes flashed with sharpness as they scanned D. Shurtion from head to toe. The fallen devil Ancestor grinned maliciously. The demon court is an immortal divine artifact that contains 3,000 great Taos. It's a consummate great Tao and has the potential to reach the Aeonic God Realm. As long as we can get our hands on it, the Paragon God Realm, the Violet Gold Continent, and our Devil God Continent will be able to reach the Aeonic God Realm, an existence as mighty as the Eternal Heaven Realm. The moment this thought appeared in his mind, it was as if a blazing flame had filled his mind. Good, good, good. The Demon Emperor deserves to die. This is the perfect time to kill him. Forefather, Terminator sneered. He looked at D. Shurtion with killing intent. Demon Emperor. Just as the devil ancestors and paragons were glaring at D. Shurtion like wolves, the heavenly goddess of wisdom suddenly smiled faintly and said, I was able to regain my position as the Aeonic Supreme God because I helped the Paragon of Judgment return my fate. His last words were to use your imperial blood as a sacrifice to his departed soul. No matter what, I owe him a favor, and I have no choice but to repay this favor. Every word was like a heavy hammer that slammed into the hearts of every cultivator. You want to kill me? D. Shurtion stood upright on the celestial emperor's chariot. He didn't look like he was inferior to the heavenly goddess of wisdom at all as he spoke decisively. You are an emperor of a generation. I will personally send you on your way to show my respect for you. The heavenly goddess of wisdom's eyes looked straight into his eyes without dodging. I will wait for you to come and kill me. If I don't die, I will kill you. D. Shurtion shouted arrogantly. The arrogance and domineering aura of an emperor shot up into the sky naturally, and a monstrous emperor's aura was naturally revealed. It was as if whoever wanted to kill him would be committing treason and heresy. Heavenly goddess of wisdom, don't think that just because you have become the Aeonic Supreme God, you can casually decide the life and death of the ruler of the Purple Gold mainland. If you want to fight, the Purple Gold mainland won't be afraid of you. The Devil Master's eyes were filled with rage as he let out a thunderous roar. He took a step forward, and a monstrous demonic aura was naturally released. It was so domineering that it seemed like it could punch a hole in the sky. It required a lot of courage and resolution to say such words in front of the Aeonic Supreme God. This was a choice that didn't fear death. You want to kill my brother? Let's see if I agree to it. Di Tianyu's eyes were filled with boundless rage. The space god, fake god, and the others didn't say anything. They only took a step forward to express their attitude. When the heavenly goddess of wisdom heard this, she glanced at them and said calmly, "A one-on-one battle is my respect for the demon emperor's identity as an emperor. As for you guys, you will have your chance. However, in order to prevent you guys from disturbing us, it's better to be quiet for now." The moment she finished speaking, she pointed her finger at them. Instantly, an ancient diagram appeared out of nowhere. In the blink of an eye, it appeared above the heads of the fake god and the others. The ancient diagram shone with a mysterious divine radiance and descended. Within the diagram, it was like another world that sucked them in. It turned into a barrier of heaven and earth, trapping them within the diagram. What lousy diagram is this? Watch how I break it. The Devil Master's face was cold as he punched towards the sky. However, the void distorted, and the force of the punch penetrated out of the ancient diagram. Eerily, it was transferred to a certain region of the Aeonic heaven world that was already in ruins. There was a loud boom, but it didn't cause any damage to the ancient diagram. Roar, roar, roar. Below him, the immemorial 9 dragons let out a deafening roar. Suddenly, they swung their dragon claws and darted towards the demon court. In the blink of an eye, they were back in the ancient city. "Husband, be careful." Chun-Shi, Katomi, and the others glanced worriedly at Di Shirtian. Then, they stood obediently to the side, silently, supporting him. They knew that at this moment, he could only rely on himself to get through this crisis. Despicable. What a shameless goddess of wisdom. How dare she use the might of the eternal God to challenge you? Lunatic D. How could she do such a thing? She's simply shameless. How could she say that she's bullying the weak in such a dignified manner? Nether almost went crazy on the spot. He cursed loudly in the Nether prison. "Goddess of wisdom, if you want to kill me, I'll smash you to death." Di Shirtian stepped into the ancient city, and his imperial body collided with each other at an astonishing speed. The vast energy of heaven and earth from the ancient city surged into his body like a tide. Rumble. The entire demon court came to life at the first moment. Divine light burst forth from it, and a vast pressure spread in all directions like a tide. At the same time, Di Shirtian's imperial body swelled violently in the divine light. 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet. He stepped into the ancient city and became one with it. The vast energy of the demon court surged into his imperial body. His imperial body expanded rapidly, and at a speed visible to the naked eye, he grew to a height of several million feet. The demon court also shrank and became more condensed. Countless Taoist rhymes intertwined on the city, and a huge red lotus of forbidden power enveloped the ancient city. It was as if it had materialized, and it burst forth with destructive power. Kill, kill, kill. His majesty is invincible. So what if you're the eternal God? Anyone who dares to challenge his majesty is an enemy of the monster race. We will stand with his majesty. The strong practitioners of the monster race watched as Sakura was about to battle with the goddess of wisdom. Their eyes were almost spewing out blazing rays of light as they emitted monstrous battle intent. The monster blood in their bodies was boiling. Since ancient times, no one had dared to fight the eternal God head-on. Only the monster emperor. Di Shirtian had led the monster race to unprecedented glory, and he was the pride and belief of the entire monster race. When a monarch was humiliated, his subjects would die. When a monster emperor was humiliated, the monster race experts were enraged. The monster race did not worship the heavens or the gods. If anyone dared to humiliate them, they would bite off a piece of flesh, even if it meant death. Rumble. Waves of powerful battle intent and devout belief surged from the bodies of the countless monster race experts in the ancient city and drilled into Di Shirtian's body. As soon as the belief in power entered his body, his imperial blood began to boil. His will rose without limit, and all the acupoints in his body began to resonate. 13 undying divine rings emerged from his flesh and blood one after another. There was an indestructible Holy Spirit in every divine ring. The will of the 7 emotions and 6 desires swept out in all directions. Tyrannical, incomparably powerful. As he merged with the ancient city, the unbelievably powerful force instantly caused the Emperor aura around Di Shirtian to rise and expand at an astonishing speed. Rumble. The entire ancient city suddenly exploded like an ancient divine mountain, charging toward the heavenly goddess of wisdom without any mercy. It was as tyrannical as an ancient ferocious beast. There was no need to use the purple firmament god-slaying cannon. Instead, it relied on the power of the ancient city to charge over. This was the most barbaric method. The tyrannical aura directly suppressed the great void supreme being and the others, causing their faces to change color as they retreated. The ancient city was roaring, and wherever it went, the already broken laws of heaven and earth were even more broken. The void was constantly crumbling and distorting, showing signs of a great apocalypse. In heaven and earth, wisdom is supreme, and courage is below. Only wisdom can control power. Using wisdom to control power, I am the god of war. I am the heavenly goddess of wisdom. I am the wisdom god of war. The heavenly goddess of wisdom's aura changed instantly, and a dazzling armor appeared on her body, outlining her perfect figure. A simple and unadorned battle spear appeared in his hand. It flickered with the light of wisdom. Wisdom can see through everything. Shifter Emperor, although your demon court is immortal, it still has flaws. It is not difficult to find a flaw and defeat you. The spear in the heavenly goddess of wisdom's hand suddenly blasted toward the demon court at a strange angle. Rumble. That battle spear strangely pierced through the forbidden red lotus, but did not suffer the powerful attack of the forbidden red lotus. It seemed to have directly seen through the flaw of the red lotus seal, and the spear directly bombarded the southern heavenly gate. A terrifying sharpness burst out from the spear. The entire ancient city was in a fierce stalemate for a moment. Immediately, terrifying cracks appeared on the southern heavenly gate, and the ancient city was blasted away. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1289. The weather is abnormal. It's easy to catch a cold. Brothers, keep warm. Cloud sky. Cloud sky. Countless gods appeared in the surroundings of the soaring firmament demon court, and they let out crisp prayers. Millions upon millions of immortal gods circled around the city. Gu Cheng was sent flying by the spear, and he crashed into a divine mountain. The divine mountain was shattered into countless fragments. The cracks on the South Heaven Gate were clearly visible. They were densely distributed on every inch of the ancient door. Who would have thought that God Aeon's power would be this terrifying? A single strike had caused the deathless gate to crack. Boom, boom, boom. At the same time, the terrifying power from the spear pierced into the ancient city, but Di Shirtian sent it into the core space, where a seemingly corporeal spear slammed into the ancient city that had been suppressed by the Emperor's Jade archive. The ancient city let out a terrifying rumble. Inside, countless pillars of the Great Tao trembled, and a sea of 3,000 Great Tao laws poured out of the ancient city like a tidal wave. They quickly merged with the 3,000 Great Tao laws of the Emperor's Jade archive, interweaving into even more mysterious and profound Tao runes. Millions upon millions of quintessence energy filled the ancient city. They merged into every inch of the city. Towering godlight covered the entire city. The shattered southern heavenly gate instantly healed at a speed visible to the naked eye, returning it to its original state. And it seemed even more powerful than before. In the blink of an eye, the entire demon court seemed to have grown taller. Wisdom, come and kill me if you can. You can't even break through my demon court. Seems like that's all there is to God Aeon. I'll smash you to death. Tion felt even more confident as he sensed the transformation of the demon court. His snow-white hair danced wildly behind him, and he emanated a towering aura. The ancient city was only slightly affected, but without hesitation, it bared its fangs and claws and charged toward the goddess of wisdom. It was as if he wanted to smash him to death and shatter him into pieces. Oh, what a profound foundation. It didn't shatter. It really does have the potential to become an Aeon. But no matter how strong an immortal grade artifact is, it can forget about provoking me. Break, break, break. The goddess of wisdom swept her cold gaze over the city, her eyes flashing with a strange light as she swung her spear at it again. Bang! Under the attack of the battle spear, the demon court seemed to have no ability to resist at all. Once again, it was sent flying backwards. More cracks appeared on the southern heavenly gate. The ancient city shook again and again. Along with it, the ancient city of chaos on the Ultimate Emperor's Jade Archive constantly burst forth with endless divine light. The power of law of the two great powers rapidly merged with the demon court. The 3,000 heavenly pillars of the Great Path were transforming at an astonishing speed. They quickly became tangible and mysterious, and ancient patterns appeared on the heavenly pillars. Countless mysterious techniques were imprinted on the heavenly pillar. In the blink of an eye, the ancient city's divine light soared into the sky. The aura emitted from the ancient city was rising rapidly with every passing moment. Boom, boom, boom. The battle spears struck the ancient city again and again. Countless cracks appeared on the surface of the ancient city. However, as soon as they appeared, they were quickly repaired by boundless essence energy. In the blink of an eye, the ancient city became even stronger. The heavenly goddess of wisdom seemed to be able to see through all flaws. The moment Gu Cheng appeared before her, he was immediately sent flying. The spears bombarded the ancient city. The entire eternal heaven realm was filled with terrifying scenes of lightning and thunder. There were scenes of the void collapsing everywhere, and the earth was shattering. The terrifying sound of the collision spread wildly in all directions. Good, good, good. Lunatic Emperor wanted to use the power of the heavenly goddess of wisdom to speed up the fusion between the demon court and the ancient city of chaos. The fiercer her attacks, the faster the fusion. Good, this is simply too good. The Great Path law of the ancient city of chaos is quickly fusing with the demon court. Nether couldn't help but laugh maniacally as he witnessed the changes in the soaring heaven demon court. He understood that Tion did not attack and only use brute force to attack. He wanted to use external forces to forcefully fuse the two ancient cities. Oomph! The heavenly goddess of wisdom. So what if she is the eternal supreme god? My demon court is not ordinary. If she can't break it with one strike, she can forget about destroying the ancient city. Moreover, she wants to steal the soaring sky and use it to become an eternal supreme artifact. She is destined to lend me a helping hand. Tian's emperor aura was like the sea, and his expression was as cold as ever. His gaze fell on the heavenly goddess of wisdom. He controlled the ancient city and did not retreat at all. He wanted to borrow power. Borrow power to build the city. You can actually heal so quickly. Shifter Emperor, you are really bold. You are borrowing my power to help you build the ancient city. What kind of existence was the heavenly goddess of wisdom? Although it was only a few short attacks, she clearly understood that the transformation of the demon court was caused by her. He was borrowing her power to build the demon court. This was almost an undisguised humiliation. Her expression was slightly cold, and she said, "Shifter Emperor, do you really think that I don't dare to break your demon court? Why not?" No matter how much you flood the sky, when have you ever seen me take half a step back? Tion shouted without fear. Rumble. The demon court under him once again charged toward the heavenly goddess of wisdom with an even more violent aura. Crash! 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 I will crash you to death. Void imprisonment. When the heavenly goddess of wisdom heard this, she stretched out her jade-like hand and grabbed at the air in the direction of the demon court. Instantly, the entire void of heaven and earth, all the laws and rules were completely imprisoned in an instant. Time and space completely stopped in an instant. The void solidified like a dead sea. The entire demon court was imprisoned in the void on the spot. It did not even have the slightest ability to move. The vast power erupting from the ancient city could not shake this completely imprisoned void in the slightest. This was one of the abilities that only the supreme god of eternity had, which was to touch the laws. Even the laws were imprisoned. Under the supreme god of eternity, even a ruler would find it difficult to resist. Shifter Emperor, you are like an ant in my hands. If I want to kill you, I can do it with just one hand. The heavenly goddess of wisdom said slowly. Since I broke through to the ruler realm and condensed my fate, no one in the world can manipulate my fate. My life can only be controlled by me. Battle tablet, fuse with my body. Shatter the void. Tian's eyes suddenly widened, and a terrifying emperor's aura burst forth. He was like an emperor who had been provoked and was completely enraged. He issued an edict decisively. Rumble. The entire demon court shook violently, as if even the void imprisonment was about to break. On the Emperor's Jade archive, one could clearly see that 4 huge divine tablets were suppressing the ancient city of chaos as if they had existed since ancient times. The ancient city could not resist at all. At this moment, the city of chaos and the demon court were quickly merging, and the power in the city of chaos was rapidly dissipating. It was far from being comparable to its heyday. At this time, the ancient tablet, which had countless gods and demons constantly deducing battle skills and exuded boundless battle intent, suddenly flew up from the ancient city of chaos and turned into a stream of light. It appeared in front of Tian and went straight into his left arm. Fight! 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 As soon as the ancient tablet entered his arm, the blazing emperor's blood crazily washed the ancient tablet. The ancient tablet suddenly turned into countless tiny fragments and went into the flesh of his arm. Suddenly, countless figures of gods and demons appeared on the surface of his arm. Earth-shattering battle skills were constantly thrown out from their hands, and each of them had a terrifying power that could shatter heaven and earth. Powerful. As soon as the battle tablet fused with his arm, Tian could clearly feel that this fusion was extremely powerful. It was as if it could truly become one with his flesh at any time, and there would be no distinction between them. His flesh was the ancient tablet, and the ancient tablet was his flesh. A supreme will that could control the heavens with one hand kept gathering in his body. A powerful battle intent penetrated through the years. It was powerful, far more powerful than his sovereign body. A power that was 10 times, 100 times, or even 1,000 times gathered in his left arm. This kind of power gave him an invincible belief that he could destroy everything. Goddess of wisdom, the ancient supreme god, is not invincible. Watch as this emperor crushes the void break. Tian's snow-white hair danced crazily behind his head. Every strand of hair could crush a divine peak. His left arm abruptly punched the air in a domineering manner. Fight! 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 The moment he punched, the countless battle skills on his arm exploded with the most terrifying destructive power. They gathered in his arm and became the ancestor of all battle skills in the world. One punch could break all skills in the world. Rumble. This punch smashed the void domineeringly. There was a terrifying explosion. The void shook violently. Looking at the void, one could see that it was like a mirror that suddenly appeared. On it, countless cracks rapidly spread to every inch of the area at a speed visible to the naked eye. Then, with a crash, the void shattered into millions of tiny fragments and shot out in all directions. What is that? The goddess of wisdom's eyes instantly fell on Di Shirtian's left arm. She could clearly feel a powerful threat from it. The key was that she could not see the origin of the ancient tablet at all. It was impossible for such a divine object to be born in the chaos. Oomph. No matter what, if you die, Shifter Emperor, everything will be mine. One battle to decide the fate. The spear in the goddess of wisdom's hand bloomed with golden divine light and revealed endless power of rules. It was far more powerful than a Khanate's supreme treasure. With a boom, it blasted straight at Di Shirtian's throat. She wanted to kill him on the spot with one strike. That ancient tablet had completely attracted her attention. She no longer had the mood to delay. The void shattered one after another under the spear. The laws collapsed and the rules were destroyed. Terrifying black holes appeared one after another. Clang! Along the way, an ancient finger that looked like a divine stone collided with the battle spear with great precision. Endless battle power burst out from the finger and clashed violently with the spear. The terrifying destructive power landed on the ancient city. Rumble! The Ling Shao demon court trembled violently, rumbling continuously. The power contained in the spear was transferred to the ancient city of primal chaos. In an instant, a third of the ancient city of primal chaos completely collapsed, turning into countless essences that quickly merged with the Ling Shao demon court. The law tablet fused into the emperor's body. When the ancient chaos city collapsed, an ancient tablet was released once again. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1290. The finger that collided with the war spear of wisdom was like refined steel. The power of countless battle techniques erupted as it clashed fiercely with the war spear. It was not penetrated at all, but the demon court beneath it was sent flying backward on the spot. Along with it, 1/3 of the ancient city of chaos began to disintegrate. Large pieces of the ancient city quickly merged into the demon court. Every inch of the city erupted with divine light that was hundreds of millions of feet long. It emitted an ancient aura of chaos. Countless essences of chaos poured into the ancient city, causing the ancient city to transform at an incredible speed with every instant. It became even more powerful. The independent planes in the ancient city of chaos also merged into the 129,600 planes, causing those planes to undergo incredible changes with every breath. They crazily collided and expanded. Especially in the main body of the ancient city, the earth, mountains, rivers, mountains, peaks, forests, ancient trees, flowers, and spiritual essence sprung up one after another like bamboo shoots after a rain. The entire ancient city was like a real heaven and earth. No one could see the appearance of the city at all. It presented a mysterious soil and earth. This earth was abnormally hard, far beyond the ranks of rare treasures. The interior of the demon court was madly expanding and expanding. This scene had already surpassed the purple gold continent and the demon god continent. In the void, a purple eye appeared out of thin air. As if it had a mind of its own, it emitted an unparalleled pressure and quickly erected the laws between heaven and earth. With every breath, the pressure emitted from the eye would become more intense. This was a sign that the eye of the heavenly Tao was undergoing a transformation. It was transforming into a true eye of the great Tao. In the demon court, a vast history of civilization appeared, emitting countless praises and constantly tempering the ancient city. Swoosh! Swoosh! 3,000 heavenly pillars of the great Tao stood straight between heaven and earth. One could clearly see that countless fragments of the great Tao's laws were rapidly pouring in, condensing into substance from the illusory and sketching mysterious patterns on the heavenly pillars. The wider the earth, the higher the sky. Whoosh! At the same time, a beam of light shot out from the Jade Archive and entered his right arm without hesitation. Rumbling sounds could be heard as the sovereign's blood washed over it. The ancient tablet rapidly crumbled, turning into countless tiny fragments that fused with the flesh of his right arm. Countless gods roared and appeared on his right arm. Heaven shaking, earth-shattering spells and divine abilities were constantly being cast by them. Each spell contained a terrifying might that could shatter the world. It was as if in an instant, all the spells of the world were within their grasp. Void shackles, blade of fate, blade of time. When the ancient tablet fused with the Emperor's body, the surging power in Sakra's body rumbled violently like a tidal wave. A feeling of dissatisfaction welled up in his heart. Without even thinking, he waved his hand at the goddess of wisdom, and 3 tyrannical attacks enveloped her. The void confinement almost immediately confined the area where the goddess of wisdom was, just like what she had used on the demon court before. Her body was instantly shackled in the void. A boundless river tore through the void and materialized into a gigantic blade of fate that slashed down. It was as though even the god Ancient Times would have to bow down before this blade of fate. A crystal-like blade of time appeared in front of her snow-white neck with the speed of time. Gate of Wisdom. Break. Rumble. Above the goddess of wisdom's head, an ancient gate appeared out of thin air. On the ancient gate, countless living beings worshipped and revered the wisdom of wisdom. They were sincerely praying. The gate seemed to contain 1,000 kinds of wisdom and 10,000 kinds of truths. The door of the ancient world trembled on the spot, and the originally confined void completely collapsed. Following that, the gate of wisdom emitted a strange divine light, and traces of mysterious devouring force appeared. It swept the blade of fate and blade of time into the ancient gate and devoured them. What is that ancient tablet? The goddess of wisdom's eyes were filled with a strange light as she questioned. At the same time, she stretched out her hand toward the gate of wisdom and flew into the air, domineeringly suppressing the demon court. Rumble. The gate of wisdom carried with it the boundless power of wisdom. It controlled all kinds of power and suppressed the entire demon court. There was a terrifying roar, and the entire ancient city fell directly under the immense power of the gate. Countless tiny cracks spread rapidly on the surface of the ancient city. At the same time, another 1/3 of the ancient city in the Emperor's Jade archive collapsed, turning into the purest materials and power of the laws, and poured crazily into the demon court. Strength tablet. Merge into the Emperor's body. Di Shirtian's expression did not change, and he was still as cold as usual. Suddenly, the strength tablet broke free from the ancient city and entered the Emperor's body. It went straight into the kidney and immediately turned into countless tiny fragments that merged perfectly into the kidney. Power. Endless power. In an instant, an endless stream of energy gushed out from his kidneys, filling every inch of his body. The kidneys were the source of energy. If one's kidneys were strong, one's energy would be strong. If one's kidneys were weak, one's body would be weak. This was the source of power. At this moment, the ancient tablet merged into the body, causing the power in the body to explode. I'll poke you to death with a finger. Di Shirtian's white hair danced wildly behind his head. Countless gods and demons appeared around him, performing countless battle skills and spells. He was like an emperor above the heavens. His emperor aura, which felt like he was the sole ruler of the world, surged at an exponential rate. His left hand suddenly pointed at the goddess of wisdom. Rumble. An emperor's finger burst forth with supreme emperor's aura. Everything in the world had to bow down. Even the eternal God. If you dare to go against me, I'll poke you to death with a finger. Under the finger, the void collapsed violently, and the earth cracked and crumbled. This finger was the same as the eternal God in the eternal heaven realm. The emperor's aura was boundless. A majestic pressure emerged in the goddess of wisdom's heart. How was it possible? Was that ancient tablet? How could it make a sovereign feel such a terrifying threat to me? What is it? The light of wisdom in the goddess of wisdom's mind flickered crazily. Facing the finger, the battle spear in her hand struck out. When the two collided, the demon court retreated. However, the goddess of wisdom, who had been calm all this while, took a step back in disbelief. She was able to sense that the power contained in that finger was several tens of times stronger than before. 100 times stronger. When this sight landed in the eyes of the ancient supremes and the demon ancestor, all of their faces changed. Not good. The demon emperor can actually force the goddess of wisdom to retreat. The great void deity, king's eyes revealed an indescribable expression. No, the shifter emperor must die. If he's alive, he'll be a huge threat to us. Lifeless demon ancestor's expression was solemn as well. He could only imagine how Sakura was able to escape unscathed from the goddess of wisdom time and time again. Furthermore, he seemed to be on par with God since ancient times. How could they possibly be shocked by this? When they thought of how Di-Shir-Tian could escape from the goddess of wisdom, their hearts turned cold. There's no need to worry. Kill the shifter emperor. Blood prison demon ancestor let out a sinister laugh. A blood coffin appeared behind him out of thin air and rushed toward the demon court domineeringly. Bang! However, in response to his shout, Di-Shir-Tian only turned his head slightly. A ray of sharp divine light shot out from his eyes. It carried the emperor's aura and directly blasted into the demon court demon ancestor's mind. Without thinking, he jabbed his finger at the blood coffin again. The emperor's finger jabbed at the blood coffin, and the top-grade innate supreme treasure let out a wail. Under the emperor's finger, it was annihilated at a speed visible to the naked eye. The emperor's finger rapidly enlarged in the eyes of blood-prisoned demon ancestor. It landed solidly on his body. Bang! Blood prison. The 10 demon ancestors roared at the same time, their eyes wide open. The blood-prisoned demonic ancestor's body was instantly torn apart by the Empyrean finger, as if it was a piece of rotten wood. Then it exploded. All demon bodies, merge into my emperor's body. Help me become an eternal supreme god. Sakura stretched out his hand and grabbed the blood-prisoned demonic ancestor, who was trying to reform his demonic body. Sakura's body emitted a powerful devouring force and swallowed the blood-prisoned demonic ancestor into his imperial body. Rumble. The 129,600 emperors' indestructible emperor talismans immediately let out a roar and crushed the demon body. They quickly devoured it and poured into every inch of his flesh. Shifter Emperor, you can't kill me. How dare you kill me? A shrill roar came from the emperor's body, but then, under the power of the 3 ancient tablets, the entire demon body was instantly crushed together with his divine soul. They turned into waves of astonishing energy and quickly merged into the emperor's body. In an instant, his cultivation level increased at an astonishing speed. His cultivation level, which was already at the late-stage sovereign level, directly rose to the peak sovereign level. In his body, the 117 acupuncture points let out countless devout prayers. His acupuncture points hummed in unison. Vaguely, gods were awakening in his acupuncture points. The emperor's body flickered with dazzling divine light. You killed Blood Prison. Lifeless demon ancestor's eyes were cold as he shouted. 9 palaces merge. Immortal demon palace. As soon as his voice fell, the 9 demon palaces gathered in the middle at the same time and merged with each other. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a huge immortal demon palace. Lifeless and the other demon ancestors entered the demon palace. At the same time, an incomparably huge pitch-black battle axe appeared above the demon palace. Sky Demon Battle Axe. Slash. The pitch-black demonic axe was inscribed with countless mysterious demonic runes. It exuded a terrifying and ancient aura. Vaguely, countless figures of demonic gods could be seen flashing on the axe. The axe carried a terrifying aura that seemed capable of shattering the heavens and earth. Even the boundless sharpness of the axe caused the void to crumble madly, turning it into fragments. Under the constant power of the demon palaces, the demon battle axe instantly expanded and turned into a terrifying battle axe. Crack! The sky demon battle axe slashed straight down at the demon court. To be continued. If you like this work, you're welcome to come Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1291. In the demonic axe, the terrifying sharpness that could tear the heavens and earth apart headed straight for the demon court. The aura of the axe was not inferior to that of the goddess of wisdom. As soon as the demonic axe appeared, a supreme demonic will locked on to the entire ancient city. Under the axe, there seemed to be a huge giant holding the axe tightly as it slashed down at the demon court. The sharpness of the axe caused a terrifying crack to appear in the eternal heaven realm. The heavens were split open. Lawless! The emperor's robe on Sakura's body violently fluttered, and the 13 undying divine rings emitted clear and melodious prayers. Without even thinking, the supreme emperor's chi on his body became even denser. In front of the emperor, any disobedience would be crushed. His right hand slammed down on the axe, and countless Dharma spells and divine abilities flashed in the purple-gold giant palm. It showed a terrifying will of lawlessness. Under my command, the heavens and earth cannot be defied. I am the Imperial Emperor, and I can cover the heavens with one hand. Rumble. The gigantic axe light collided with the gigantic golden hand. Immediately, the entire world rumbled as if it was about to collapse. Countless mountains were crushed by the axe light. The sharp axe light directly penetrated through the arm and into the monarch's body. Clang! The demonic axe was also sent flying by a huge force. The purple gold palm retracted, and there was a ferocious axe mark on the palm. A drop of purple gold imperial blood dripped from the palm. The sharpness of the demonic axe broke through the imperial body's defense. Crack! Similarly, the entire ancient chaos city collapsed in an instant. Countless materials fused into the demon court, and the 3,000 great Daos completely merged. In an instant, the 3,000 heavenly pillars that stood erect condensed into substance, and mysterious Tao runes were outlined on them. The entire demon court's heaven and earth became abnormally stable. Peak immortal divine artifact. The demon court was promoted to the peak. It was close to the realm of an ancient divine artifact. Soldier steel fused with the emperor's body. Sakura once again spat out a sentence decisively. As soon as his voice fell, the weapon steel instantly broke through the air from the emperor's jade archive and drilled into the emperor's body. It entrenched itself in the lungs and turned into countless fragments, fusing into the lungs. Countless weapons were clashing. His lungs were incomparably strong. The acupoints in his body vibrated and emitted a dazzling light. His acupuncture points rang out simultaneously, and his entire body was enveloped in divine light. Can you give me the tombstone of the divine tomb? Di Shirtion wasn't satisfied with the 4 tombstones fusing into his body. Instead, he turned around and spoke to Di Tianyu, who was still trapped in the ancient map. Brother, this is a tombstone. When Di Tianyu heard this, he didn't hesitate. A light flashed in his hand, and an ancient tombstone appeared in his hand out of thin air. It looked like a piece of rotten wood, and it didn't emit any aura. It was like a stubborn rock. When he saw Di Shirtion fusing the tombstone into his body, he knew that it was definitely an incredible treasure. However, he didn't hesitate at all. After taking out the tombstone, he threw it directly at the demon court. With my emperor blood, wash the divine tombstone. Indra waved his hand and directly cut open his wrist. A stream of blazing emperor's blood instantly turned into a purple gold blood arrow and fell straight on the tombstone. On the spot, under the cleansing of the emperor's blood, the tombstone quickly emitted traces of ancient divine light. On top of it, a word appeared. It was an ancient word, devour steel. The ancient steel shook slightly, turned into a stream of light, and directly entered the spleen. It merged with the spleen, and for a moment, it became countless times stronger. Demon Emperor, I'll also give this tombstone to you. You must kill these demon ancestors and supremes. The Lord of Tian Fa's face was cold. Light flashed in his hand, and a tombstone appeared. He threw it at Di Tian and said decisively, "Whoosh!" Under the cleansing of the Emperor blood, the tombstone revealed its original appearance. On the tombstone, a mysterious word, life, appeared. This was a life steel, a longevity steel. The steel contained endless vitality and vitality. It seemed that even a skeleton could instantly regrow flesh and blood under the steel. Without hesitation, the life steel immediately entered the liver, turned into countless mysterious inscriptions, and completely merged with the liver. An enormous vitality crazily filled every inch of the flesh and blood. Di Tian only felt that as long as this ancient steel was here, even if he fought for thousands, tens of thousands, or hundreds of millions of years, the power would still be endless and would never be exhausted. His snow-white hair quickly turned black at a speed visible to the naked eye. Demon Emperor, take this piece of mind too. This is the only thing I can help you with. Duh, who was dressed in palace attire, also took out a tombstone and threw it at Di Tian. Di Tian looked up at Ziyue and did not say any words of thanks. He was about to take the tombstone. Suddenly, a seven-colored jade-like hand quickly grabbed the tombstone in the air. It was the goddess of wisdom who was snatching the tombstone. "You're courting death." He waved his left hand fiercely, and his purple-gold arm instantly bombarded the jade-like hand. With a punch, endless battle skills gathered into a torrent and blasted toward the jade-like hand. However, the gate of wisdom blocked the punch. Rumble. The gate of ancient trembled violently and was directly smashed out by the punch. The goddess of wisdom had already grabbed the tombstone. The fist smashed on it domineeringly. On the spot, the tombstone erupted with an incomparably heavy force, shaking the jade-like hand and shattering it. In the ancient steel, it naturally emitted a strong divine radiance. Faintly, it resonated with the 6 tombstones in Di Tian's body. It turned into a stream of light and entered the Emperor's body. It directly landed in the heart. Immediately, an ancient word, death, appeared on the tombstone. Shockingly, this was a death tombstone. Inside, there were countless terrifying methods of extermination. The moment the ancient tombstone fused with the heart, it became immortal and indestructible. War, soldier, law, power, life, death. Swallowing 7 tombstones directly fused with the Emperor's body. Brother Tian, you can take this piece of mine as well. Fengdu Ghost Emperor and Di Tian were close friends, so he naturally did not hesitate and directly threw out the tombstone in his hand. Without any hesitation, under the cleansing of the Emperor's blood, the line tombstone revealed its true appearance. It drilled into his left leg. The moment it fused, Di Tian had a strange feeling that he only needed to take a step, and he could immediately appear anywhere he wanted. It was as if the world could no longer restrain his footsteps. His speed had reached an unbelievable extreme. The 8 tombstones are all in my body. There's one more. Di Tian felt an unbelievable change happening in his body. Every acupuncture point was rapidly awakening. Inside them, gods were awakening one after another. In the acupuncture points, the countless soul imprints that he had swallowed back then turned into devout believers. They prostrated themselves around the god and let out the most devout prayers. You are the omnipotent Lord, the omnipotent Emperor. Fate is the saber in your hand, and time is the river of bathing. Countless devout believers, almost innumerable, emitted the purest power of faith, which continuously gathered on the god that looked exactly like Di Tian in the acupuncture points. The power of faith on the god's body continuously poured into the ultimate emperor birth chart in his body. The ultimate Emperor celestial pillar in the birth chart had already condensed into substance and reached the limit of the laws of heaven and earth. The figures of countless devout believers appeared. Vast amounts of power of faith crazily poured into the heavenly pillar. Rumble. Vaguely, the countless laws within the imperial celestial pillar were being cleansed by the power of faith. With the support of countless believers, every 129,600 supreme emperor chains of laws formed an inconceivable violet gold divine chain that resembled a ruler. The divine chains radiated with the supreme power of laws. A law required the faith of living beings and the worship of living beings. The worship of believers represented one's Tao, which could be recognized by millions of living beings. The laws were intangible, and the laws were tangible. It was the power of faith that could promote the intangible to tangible. It could truly reach the supreme realm where one was the Tao. In the past, he had swallowed so many souls. At this moment, he was praying at the same time, emitting boundless power of faith and pouring it into the birth chart. In the blink of an eye, the laws in the heavenly pillar were constantly fusing and transforming into powerful law energy. The law energy transformed into divine chains that fused into his flesh and blood. The imperial body was the law energy, and the law energy was the body. Around him, sounds of heavenly music resounded as thousands of believers appeared. It made him look like a god, incomparably noble and noble. It could not be profaned in the slightest. Waves of purple gold chi and blood soared into the sky. Vast pressure crazily crushed in all directions like a tide. You actually know the mystery of ascending to immemorial. The goddess of wisdom's expression changed drastically. She could clearly feel how incredible the magical transformation that was happening to Di Shurtian's body at this moment was. He was ascending to immemorial supremacy. The laws in his body were transforming into law energy. Qian Shun, hand over your tombstone. Di Shurtian ignored the goddess of wisdom and looked coldly at Qian Shun. The tombstone is not on me. Qian Shun refused directly. However, there was a deep look of fear in his eyes. Oof. Do you think I can't do anything to you just because you're hiding? Di Shurtian snorted and said decisively, the 8 tombstones are on me. Remaining tombstones, listen to my order and return quickly. In the imperial body, countless gods, weapons, and the power of life and death resonated together with the ancient tombstones. At the same time, dazzling divine radiance burst out, and the call of the same origin swept out in all directions. Rumble. An ancient divine tombstone suddenly broke out of the human ancestor's body. The mighty power of the tombstone caused the blood in the human ancestor's body to churn, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Whoosh! That tombstone rushed straight toward Di Shurtian like a swallow returning to its nest. It immediately drilled into his right leg. 9 tombstones gathered. The tombstones that were originally tightly fused with the emperor's body flew out of the emperor's body. One by one, the tombstones underwent a magical transformation at a speed visible to the naked eye. To be continued. If you like this work, you're welcome to come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1292. As the 9 tombstones gathered, their origins resonated with each other, emitting a divine light that spanned for millions of feet. Within the divine light, countless gods sang. Wherever the light passed, everything in the eternal heaven realm seemed to come to a standstill. Even the heavenly goddess of wisdom could not help but be imprisoned. Unable to move her body, she could only watch the changes taking place in the sky above the demon court. A miraculous metamorphosis was taking place before her eyes. Within the divine light, the battle tombstone melted at a speed visible to the naked eye. Like a mysterious divine liquid, it transformed into an almost perfect arm. It was a left arm. On it, there were countless mysterious laws that intersected. The tyrannical aura seemed to be able to shatter the eternal heaven realm into pieces with a single punch. The lost steel transformed as well. Within the divine splendor, it turned into a thick arm. It was a right arm. The battle tombstone transformed into a left leg. As for the battle tombstone that was forcefully snatched from the money god, it displayed an unimaginable power. It was as though everything in the world could change according to one's will. Whatever one wanted, they could get it. The battle tombstone transformed into a right leg. The weapon, strength, devour, life, and death tombstones transformed into organs. Instantly, they fused together. Heaven and earth played a divine tune as all living beings bowed down in worship. A perfect divine body appeared in the void. This divine body actually looked exactly the same as D. Shirtion. It was as though they were twins that were made from the same mold. The moment this divine body was formed, the entire eternal heaven realm seemed to tremble under this divine body. Terrifying rumbling sounds could be heard, and the domineering aura made all the demon ancestors and supremes feel as small and insignificant as ants. They could be crushed into dust at any moment. Forbidden divine fetus. Those 9 tombstones are actually the fragments of the forbidden divine fetus. No, impossible. Back then, many of us supremes failed to obtain the forbidden divine fetus. In the end, we all fell one after another. How could it be split into 9 pieces and refined into tombstones? How could this divine fetus choose you? Even though the heavenly goddess of wisdom could not move, she could clearly see the changes happening to the 9 tombstones. When she saw the complete formation of the forbidden divine fetus, her eyes were filled with disbelief. Because of this forbidden divine embryo, the eonic celestial realm had been reduced to the ruins it was today. Even though she did not know where the forbidden divine fetus went, she was certain that it was not obtained by any of the supremes. However, she could never have guessed that the forbidden divine fetus would be split into 9 pieces and made into tombstones that were placed in front of the 9 tombstones. To become tombstones. What? That's the forbidden divine fetus. The hearts of many demon ancestors and supreme beings sank. They could not help but reveal a fearful expression in their eyes. Supremes of the ancient times, and supremes of the supremes of the supremes. At that time, they would be like ants that the shifter emperor could poke to death with a finger. Sakra's eyes fell on the godly fetus in front of him. The godly fetus body and appearance were exactly the same as his. He knew that the godly fetus body had been stained with his emperor blood and had formed an unbreakable connection with him. His body naturally exuded a vast emperor aura. Pata. He lifted his foot and steadily stepped into the void, walking toward the forbidden divine embryo. Rumble. The laws within the forbidden divine embryo's body began to stir. Within the grand mist, purple grand mist aura began to surge. Amidst the purple grand mist aura, there were strands of purple chi that were so condensed that they were almost tangible. These strands of purple chi resembled purple crystals. This was the Grand Mist Supreme purple chi that could only be formed when the purple Grand Mist aura was condensed to the extreme. It was the Supremes of the primordial chaos purple chi. The Supreme Emperor. Although the primordial chaos purple chi was endless, it was difficult to form even one strand of such supreme grade purple chi in less than 10,000 years. There was no way to describe how precious it was. At this moment, in the primordial chaos purple chi, strands of supreme grade purple chi emitted a crisp sound as if they were attracted by something. 3,000 strands of supreme grade purple chi shot out from the primordial chaos purple chi like 3,000 shooting stars. In the blink of an eye, they appeared above the forbidden divine fetus. At a speed visible to the naked eye, they drilled into the forbidden divine fetus body. They turned into 3,000 inconceivable divine chains and shuttled through the divine fetus. Pada. Indra didn't hesitate. Step by step, he approached the forbidden divine fetus. With every step he took, his emperor aura climbed. In the void of the ancient heaven world, that torrential emperor aura formed a gigantic emperor, celestial figure. Sovereign descent. No, no. Shifter emperor. How could you fuse with the forbidden divine fetus? For it, my entire ancient heaven world was reduced to ruins. You are a thief. The goddess of wisdom almost went mad with jealousy. Her eyes shone with divine light, as if she wanted to swallow him whole. She wanted nothing more than to snatch the forbidden divine fetus away from him. However, the current situation would not change at all because of her jealousy and hatred. Tion appeared in front of the forbidden divine fetus without any surprise. He did not stop and directly collided with the divine fetus with his emperor body. When the two collided, the feeling of flesh and blood fusing together was clearly felt. It was as if the two shadows had suddenly merged into one. Boom, boom, boom. Powerful. Is this the power of the ancient divine, sovereign? I feel like the laws of heaven and earth are all in my eyes. I can mobilize them at will. I can shatter any laws in an instant. Tian's mind surged with boundless confidence. An invincible Emperor Dharma idol surged out of his body without any concealment. The Great Path Heavenly Pillar in his birth chart transformed into the Great Path Heavenly Pillar almost instantly. Although the Heavenly Pillar of Heavenly Tao appeared abnormally illusory, it immediately grew at a speed visible to the naked eye. Grow stronger, grow stronger, grow stronger without end. The divine fetus fused with his emperor body without any resistance. In the blink of an eye, his cultivation rose at an inconceivable speed without any limit. The 3,000 strands of sovereign purple chi in the divine fetus transformed into sovereign supreme law divine chains and branded themselves into every inch of his emperor body. With each brand, his emperor body transformed at an indescribable speed, becoming even stronger. As his blood and chi circulated, the sound of metal and stone rang out. Each divine chain seemed to contain a law of the great Tao. The 3,000 divine chains represented the 3,000 great path laws. All the acupoints in his body created a new world. They opened up a vast world with mountains and rivers. Believers grew happily and procreated. Every living being was the most devout believer. The power of faith that surged out in an instant caused the heavenly pillar of heavenly Tao to become even more condensed. Laws needed faith to condense, and one's own Tao needed believers to believe in it. Without faith, it would be like rootless duckweed. It would be illusory, and believers would be the foundation. The ancient divine sovereign was one with the Great Path laws. The next step was to stand above the Great Path laws and control them, becoming the master of one's own Great Path laws. After fusing with the forbidden divine fetus, Lin Fan broke through to the ancient divine sovereign level. However, he did not stop there. Instead, he continued to advance toward a higher realm. Advance, advance, advance again. With the power of the forbidden divine fetus, there were almost no bottlenecks. His cultivation base broke through at an inconceivable speed. Every moment, Tian could clearly feel the world in his eyes changing. His entire mind was rising without limit. It was sublimating and transforming. A boundless sense of pleasure constantly emerged in his mind. There were no more mysteries in the world in his eyes. With a single glance, he could see through the heavens. Boom, boom, boom. Countless pitch-black clouds gathered in the sky above the heaven realm, turning into terrifying tribulation clouds. Within the tribulation clouds, countless powerful great path laws flashed. One after another, terrifying thunderbolts covered the sky and bombarded Tian. Boom! However, Tian didn't even try to dodge. Instead, the gods inside of him began to sing praises. As the tribulation lightning struck, his imperial physique began to expand. 100,000 meters, 120,000 meters, 140,000 meters, 200,000 meters. In the blink of an eye, His imperial physique had reached an inconceivable level. He was now 296 million meters tall, so enormous that it seemed as if the entire heaven realm would tremble beneath his feet. Boundless pressure weighed down on him. The devil patriarchs felt like they were suffocating. The ancient divine sovereign. You actually became the ancient divine sovereign. The goddess of wisdom said, her eyes filled with disbelief. She could hardly believe what she was seeing. Whoosh! Tion exhaled a breath of air. This breath of air naturally transformed into countless clouds, bringing with it a raging gale. Wind and clouds swirled, lightning flashed, and thunder boomed. The aura of supremacy that belonged to an emperor was so thick that it almost seemed corporeal. However, it was retracted back into his body, and in the blink of an eye, it was gone. Despite that, anyone who looked at him would unconsciously feel a sense of respect and reverence, and would not dare to disobey him. He had entered a state of self-restraint. Whoosh! With a thought, his imperial physique returned to normal, and he stood tall in the air. His pitch-black imperial robes exuded the aura of an emperor, and the shackles of heaven and earth vanished. The goddess of wisdom and the others had returned to normal. You actually became the ancient divine sovereign, the goddess of wisdom said bitterly, having recovered from her shock. Goddess, there's no need to say anything more. Given the Yao Emperor's personality, there's no way he'll let us go. Human patriarch, paragons, the only way we can keep him in check is if we work together. Sky Demon Axe slash. In the deathless Devil Palace, the 10 Devil Patriarchs had vicious expressions on their faces. They knew full well that if they didn't go all out, they would die immediately. Hundreds of millions of sky-splitting demonic axes appeared in the void with supreme demonic power and slashed down in a domineering manner. Sky-splitting divine axe slash. The human patriarch and the others entered the eternal heaven world, and a huge shining divine axe shot out, followed by the sky demon axe, and slashed down on Yin's head. The moment the two axes appeared, they resonated. They fused together in a strange way. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1293. The two axes seem to have the same origin. As soon as they collided, they quickly fused together, fusing with the demon. In the blink of an eye, they turned into an even more simple and unadorned stone axe. The stone axe emitted an endless sharpness. It faintly had the terrifying power to kill an ancient supreme god. Under the axe, the void was annihilated inch by inch. Heaven's splitting divine axe, slay the shifter emperor. When the goddess of wisdom saw this, a terrifying divine light shot out from her eyes. Her entire body instantly turned into a giant that was 10 million feet tall at a speed visible to the naked eye. She held the divine axe with both hands and shouted, "Human ancestor, demon ancestor, paragon, enter my body and help me kill the demon." As soon as her voice fell, the 10 demon ancestors shouted without hesitation, "We demon ancestors will lend you a hand." With that said, the entire immortal demon palace, along with the 10 demon ancestors, rushed into the goddess of wisdom's body at the same time. In an instant, the aura emitted from her body reached an inconceivable realm. It rose crazily. "The human race will lend you a hand. We must slay the shifter emperor." The human ancestor also did not hesitate. The entire eternal heaven domain entered the goddess of wisdom's body. Majestic power poured into the goddess of wisdom, causing her cultivation to soar again. How can I be at ease if the shifter emperor doesn't die? The primordial sovereign did not hesitate. He controlled his supreme god domain and directly entered the goddess of wisdom's body. 3 immortal-grade divine artifacts and the power of nearly 20 sovereign-grade experts gathered on the goddess of wisdom's body at the same time. The quantitative change caused a qualitative change. Almost immediately, a tyrannical power crazily spewed out from the goddess of wisdom's body. Boom, boom. Boom! Her aura forcibly stepped into the Lord of Eternity realm from the late Supreme God domain. The incomparably powerful power instantly gave her the belief of invincibility. Shifter Emperor, after killing you, the forbidden divine embryo will be mine. Heaven-splitting divine axe split heaven and earth. A look of endless madness appeared on the goddess of wisdom's face. Her black hair danced wildly behind her head, cutting through the sky. It was unknown how much tyrannical power surged in her body, crazily pouring into the stone axe in her hand. The Tao patterns on the stone axe became even more ancient and mysterious. Her aura seemed to be on par with Di-Shirtian's. Madness. The goddess of wisdom had indeed lost her mind. Seeing the forbidden divine fetus that the entire Ionic celestial realm had fought over and reduced to ruins, being absorbed by Di-Shirtian on the spot and ascending to the Ionic Lord level, she went completely insane. How could she possibly accept this? Kill the Shifter Emperor and take back the forbidden divine fetus. This was the only thought in the goddess of wisdom's mind. Good. This emperor is about to let the heavens and earth know of the supreme technique I created when I was promoted to Lord of Eternity. 9 slashes of the demon emperor. Di-Shirtian cheered when he saw that the goddess of wisdom had forcibly entered the realm of the Lord of Eternity. His black hair fluttered wildly behind him as he stood in the void, exuding a natural aura of being in control of everything. He extended his hand and jabbed at the heaven-splitting stone axe that was slashing down. One finger against the heavens. A purple-gold finger appeared in the void and jabbed straight at the stone axe. In the finger, countless battle techniques completely gathered together, turning into an incredible attack. Under this finger, the void was frozen, as if no existence could dodge the finger's attack. Clang! The golden-purple finger collided with the blade of the axe, creating a metallic sound. A terrifying fighting strength burst forth from the finger, one wave after another, bombarding the axe in a domineering manner. Rumble! The goddess of wisdom's entire body seemed to have been struck by lightning and directly took a step back. Second finger technique of heaven and earth. Di-Shirtian didn't wait for the goddess of wisdom to turn around. He took a step forward and extended a second finger. On the finger, countless mysterious spells gathered, condensing into a terrifying destructive power. With a move of the finger, thousands of laws and rules of heaven and earth rioted at the same time, forming a variety of attacks that crushed towards the goddess of wisdom. Under the finger, it was as if it had completely turned into a chaotic law domain. Inside, there were heavenly flames, meteors, floods, and so on. All kinds of terrifying attacks flooded towards the goddess of wisdom. Puff! A mouthful of blood spurted out from the goddess of wisdom's mouth. Her face was pale. Every finger had infinite power that could change heaven and earth. Di-Shirtian casually waved his finger and continued to attack without holding back. 3 fingers against the heavens. 4 fingers devour the sun and moon. 5 fingers create creation. 6 fingers raise the heavens. 7 fingers perish. 8 fingers execute heavenly punishment. 9 fingers like an emperor's heart. 1 finger after another, as if it wasn't an attack at all, but a kind of drill. Every finger naturally revealed a kind of infinite power of creation, power of destruction, and the demeanor of an emperor. They firmly jabbed the goddess of wisdom's body. The goddess of wisdom waved her battle axe to resist. But under the 9 fingers, her whole body was directly blasted back 9 steps. She vomited 9 mouthfuls of blood on the spot, and her face was as pale as paper. When the last finger fell, the goddess of wisdom seemed to have been struck by lightning. Her body trembled violently, and immortal artifacts spurted out from her body. All the sovereigns and demon ancestor vomited blood at the same time. Heart-devouring demon ancestor, you keep saying that you want to kill this emperor and my demon concubine. Today, I will send you to the afterlife. Di-Shirtian looked at the heart-devouring demon ancestor, who was in a sorry state, and jabbed his finger straight at her without any pity. No, I don't want to die. Shifter Emperor, I can serve you together with Mei and be your demon concubine, as long as you don't kill me. I could do anything for you. Under the purple gold Emperor finger, the heart-devouring demon ancestor only felt that she was incomparably small, as if she was just a mortal facing a vast divine mountain. Just the aura alone was enough to make her feel suffocated. Terrifying, it was really too terrifying. Under the fear, she didn't hesitate to let out a sharp scream. Bang! However, her roar did not cause the purple gold Emperor's finger to waver in the slightest. The Emperor's finger continued to stably stab into her voluptuous chest. With a boom, the devil's body was torn to pieces by the Emperor's finger as if it was a dried twig. Even her spirit was completely shattered. Condense. Indra spat out a single word. Instantly, the shattered pieces of flesh and blood started to condense together at an astonishing speed. Under the might of the supreme might, a human-shaped divine pill was formed. Within the divine pill, boundless energy was released. That was the heart-devouring demon ancestor's entire life's energy. Exion, you and the heart-devouring demon ancestor come from the same source. This divine pill is the essence of his entire life. Now, your husband will seal it in your body. Absorb it, and you'll be able to break through to the sovereign realm. You will become an unparalleled sovereign. Di Shirtian casually pointed his finger, and the divine pill immediately entered Mei-Shin's body. In an instant, Mei-Shin's face was filled with divine radiance. Fallen demon ancestor, you clamored to kill me. I gave you a chance. Since you couldn't kill me, you should die in peace. Die. Di Shirtian extended his emperor finger again and jabbed it at the fallen demon ancestor's body. On the spot, the fallen demon ancestor was pierced into pieces without any resistance. Under the supreme power, the essence of his body once again condensed into a human-shaped divine pill. Immortal Demon Palace, kill! The remaining demon ancestors let out frenzied roars. Controlling the immortal demon palace, they charged towards Di Shirtian in despair. However, they were pierced into pieces by the finger and were sucked into the demon court, where they were quickly devoured. 8 consecutive fingers. Not a single one of the 8 demon ancestors could withstand a single finger. Right now, his cultivation was already at the Lord of Eternity. He was countless times stronger than the Lord of Eternity. At such a cultivation realm, he could look down on all heavens. In his eyes, the demon ancestors were just slightly bigger ants. There was no difference at all. With a single finger, he could kill them directly. Bang, bang, bang. Starting from lifeless demon ancestor, the remaining demon ancestors turned into dust. They were completely annihilated by the Emperor's finger. Under the heaven-defying power, they even condensed 8 sovereign god pills. Great Void, what should we do? The demon emperor is obviously going to kill us all. Lifeless, and the others have already been killed. Are we going to escape? Old ancestor Terminator let out a terrified scream. Escape? Where can we escape to? The great void God King's eyes were deep, and there was a trace of bitterness in them. No matter what, he did not expect things to turn out this way. The demon emperor, who was clearly at a disadvantage, actually obtained the forbidden divine fetus and ascended to the invincible Lord of Eternity. This was fate. In front of the Lord of Eternity, any resistance was just like the moon in the water, a flower in the mirror. You primordial supremes had an agreement with the demon race. Although it was a setup to you, it was an agreement to the demon race. Since you have violated the agreement, don't blame me for being merciless. Die. Indra coldly glanced at the supreme experts of the supreme, ancient, immortal realms. There was no pity in his eyes at all. Being merciful to one's enemies was the same as being cruel to oneself. If they were in a disadvantageous position, their fates would definitely be worse than now. How would he show mercy to them? The Emperor's finger flickered continuously. The primordial supremes could not resist at all. They followed the demon ancestor's footsteps and were torn into pieces by the Emperor's finger. Their souls were annihilated, and their flesh and blood condensed into a sovereign divine core. Human ancestor, you betrayed us in the primordial era and now again. I will not kill you, but I will make you repent for your crimes for all eternity. You will be spurned by the demon race. Tion reached toward the eternal celestial realm and made a grabbing motion. The entire realm appeared in the demon court and was sucked into the Imperial Jade archive. He quickly refined it and sent a large number of ordinary humans to the subordinate planes. All the cultivators were reduced to dust. The human ancestor did not resist at all. He was grabbed by the neck. Bam! He casually pressed him against the myriad demon steel in the demon court that recorded the demon race's heroic deeds. The human ancestor fell to his knees. As if rooted to the ground, he could not be pulled up. His entire body was completely sealed. He was turned into a stone statue to repent for all eternity before the demon race's heroic spirits. The money god was stabbed to death with a finger. One great enemy after another was killed with a wave of his hand. Finally, he looked toward the goddess of wisdom. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come Achidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1294. There's still one last ticket to officially end this. I will write a big ticket. Brothers, buy some tickets if you have any. It's the last day. The human ancestor was suppressed to repent for eternity. The money god fell and turned into a sovereign divine pill. Under the supreme power of the Lord of Eternity, even the sovereigns were like ants that could be annihilated with a wave of his hand. In the blink of an eye, the great enemies were almost completely annihilated. There was no suspense at all. The gap between them was simply too great. Even though they had gathered all their strength on the goddess of wisdom, allowing her to temporarily possess the powerful battle strength of the Lord of Eternity, they were still beaten back repeatedly by the Emperor's finger, unable to resist at all. 10 demon ancestors, 7 primordial supremes, and 1 money god. A total of 18 sovereign divine pills were injected into Maexion's body. In Xian's hand, there were a total of 17 sovereign divine pills. Any one of them could directly create a sovereign rank expert. It was not inferior to the fortune brought by the divine tomb. Every one of them was a great fortune. Using the essence of the enemy to improve one side, squeezing all the value out of them to the extreme. The goddess of wisdom quietly watched the demon ancestors, supremes, and even the human ancestor being suppressed. She did not interfere with Xian's actions. She did not seem to want to continue resisting, nor could she interfere. Seeing Xian's gaze fall on her, she did not show any fear or panic. It was as if she had completely let go of everything and faced life and death directly. An ancient mirror appeared in her hand. She reached out to stroke her hair and straighten her clothes, as if adjusting herself to the most perfect moment. Goddess of Wisdom. Xian looked at the Goddess of Wisdom's actions and did not immediately attack. He just calmly watched and silently waited. This was the choice of an ancient supreme god. Any supreme god was an opponent worthy of respect. Even if the other party was an enemy, one should not insult their dignity. Moreover, the Goddess of Wisdom in front of him was a peerless goddess who had toyed with the entire chaos world and countless races for hundreds of millions of years. There was absolutely no doubt about her terrifying wisdom. Monster Emperor, please wait for this goddess to tidy up my appearance. You could do whatever you want of me. The heavenly goddess of wisdom said calmly. A strange divine radiance naturally appeared on her face, making her seem incomparably noble and divine. There seemed to be boundless wisdom flowing through his body. The aura that belonged to the god since ancient times was completely revealed. She didn't beg for mercy at all. She was the archaic god, and she had her own dignity and dignity. Even if she was going to die, she still wouldn't bend her knees. Begging for survival. Xian did not rush him. He quietly stood in front of her, carefully sizing her up. As he carefully observed her, He couldn't help but exclaim in admiration in his heart, as expected of the heavenly lady who is known for her wisdom. Her appearance is truly unparalleled. She was in no way inferior to Chun Shi, Tian Xiang, and the other women. Unfortunately, he was still an enemy. After ascending to the ancient Lord realm, Di Shitian's horizons had been broadened to an immeasurable level. The entire world was contained within his mind. He naturally had the bearing of an emperor, but he also had to distinguish the situation. At this moment, the entire demon court, including the ruler of fate, were dumbfounded. They watched as the demon ancestors and supremes who had fought with them for countless years were killed by a single finger. That kind of shock was almost indescribable with words. There was a strange look in their eyes as they looked at Di Shitian. The Ancient Lord. Is this the power of the Ancient Lord? The same thought flashed through their minds one after another. The scene just now had left a deep impression on them. Even thousands of years later, they might not be able to erase it. It was branded into their souls. After a long time, the heavenly goddess of wisdom tidied herself up. She was dressed in a palace robe that accentuated her perfect figure, exuding a unique aura. A faint smile bloomed at the corners of her mouth. That smile made the entire world pale in comparison. Even the rulers couldn't help but feel their hearts palpitate. There was no enchantment, just the most genuine beauty. Come, Shifter Emperor. The heavenly goddess of wisdom looked at Di Shitian and smiled faintly. I, wisdom, can die at the hands of you, the Ancient Lord. It is not unjust, nor resentful. In fact, it is an honor. How many existences in this world could be killed by the Ancient Lord himself? This was a kind of sorrow, but also a kind of supreme honor. Very well, I will destroy your body, but not your soul. I will seal your memories. You can reincarnate. If there is an afterlife, I hope we will not be enemies. Although Di Shitian felt that it was a pity, he didn't hesitate. He raised his right hand and extended another finger, jabbing toward the heavenly goddess of wisdom. Shifter Emperor, please wait. Just as the finger was about to reach the heavenly goddess of wisdom, a clear voice suddenly emerged from the void. This voice inexplicably caused the finger to stop. Rumble. A huge vortex appeared in the void. Within the vortex, a crystal heavenly coffin instantly broke through the void. On the heavenly coffin, countless nomological Tao patterns were intertwined. A powerful aura naturally spread in all directions. The aura was so strong that it didn't pale in comparison to the heavenly goddess of wisdoms. Saint Butian. The heavenly goddess of wisdom looked at the heavenly coffin and couldn't help but say slowly, "It is indeed you. You didn't fall and also entered the chaotic world. However, I think you should have recovered by now." Crack! The crystal heavenly coffin let out a soft sound. From the heavenly coffin, a slender figure slowly walked out. She was wearing a sky-blue palace robe that accentuated her perfect figure. She was exceptionally voluptuous, like a ripe peach that was about to fall. She was exceptionally alluring. In between her eyebrows, there was a five-color crystal that exuded a unique Tao rhythm. It made people unconsciously feel a sense of intimacy. With deep eyes, she looked at Di Shitian and said, "Shifter Emperor, although the heavenly goddess of wisdom is wrong, she is after all one of the few primordial supreme gods in the ancient celestial realm. Your Majesty, please reconsider and decide according to your discretion. Now that the ancient celestial realm is in ruins, Your Majesty, if the demon court ascends to the ancient celestial realm, you will need a primordial supreme god to guard the place. You will need to guard the place for Your Majesty." There was a hint of respect and a hint of pleading in her voice. So she is the Saintess Butian. Come to think of it, Lunatic D, you have benefited a lot from her. Back then, during the ancient war, you entered the primal chaos. If it wasn't for her crystal coffin falling down and smashing the heart-devouring demon lord's heart, you would have been in danger back then. Later on, the heaven-mending pill also came from her. I didn't expect her to still be alive. Dark clicked his tongue and said, "Lunatic D, why don't you take them all into the jade pool? These are all peerless heavenly goddesses. With your current cultivation and status, It's only right and proper for them to serve you in bed." His voice was filled with a sinister charm. Tion fell silent. Indeed, he owed the Saintess Bution a favor. He had to consider this request carefully. "Shifter Emperor, Bution's words are not without reason. No primordial supreme god can be reached through simple cultivation. The ancient celestial realm is already in ruins. If the demon court ascends to the ancient celestial realm, we will naturally enter it." At this moment, a burly figure emerged from the void. It was Sure Mo's burly body, carrying the black coffin as he strode out. The voice came from the black coffin. "Zombie god, it's you. You're not dead either." The heavenly goddess of wisdom looked at the black coffin with a strange light in her eyes. "Not only am I not dead, but before the ancient celestial realm was destroyed, Carefree Scholar appeared and banished the remaining races and lives of the ancient celestial realm to various chaos realms. Other than the 9 primordial supreme gods who died, 5 of them survived. However, they were also close to death and were severely injured. Until now, I have only recovered 70%. A clear and melodious female voice came from the black coffin. "Submit to me, and I will let bygones be bygones." Tion looked at the black coffin, then at the Saintess Bution, and then at the heavenly goddess of wisdom. His voice naturally carried the aura of an emperor that could not be disobeyed. The heavenly goddess of wisdom was wise and farsighted. She had calmly faced death because she was already at the end of the road and had no hope. Now that she saw the light of hope again, she naturally would not say anything foolish to refuse. She immediately bowed and said respectfully, "Wisdom greets your majesty." She did not say much, but directly expressed her attitude. Good. Tion's murderous intent gradually disappeared. With a wave of his hand, he lifted the heavenly goddess of wisdom up. At the same time, he looked at the demon court and said, "The ancient celestial realm has been reduced to ruins, and the demon court shall replace it. Ascend to the ancient celestial realm, suppress the chaos realm, and guide the chaos beings from all over. Build the demon race's immortality." When one reached the Lord of the ancient celestial realm, one could see through all the mysteries of the past with a single glance. After devouring the ancient celestial realm, the demon court had reached the pinnacle of the immortal divine tool. Just now, they had directly thrown the immortal devil palace and the eternal celestial realm into the ancient celestial realm. Ultimate Emperor Jade Archive. Refine everything and ascend to the ancient celestial realm. Ding, ding, ding. A crystal sound came from the Imperial Jade Archive. The 3,000 heavenly pillars of the Great Tao were like a terrifying millstone. The 9 demonic palaces were crushed on the spot. The Tao runes inside were crazily poured into every inch of the ancient city. The subordinate realms of the ancient city swelled violently. Demonic domains were naturally born in each realm. Demonic veins were born in each realm, and demonic beasts and demonic creatures were born in them. In the eternal celestial realm, the divine tools disintegrated and were destroyed. Before the demon court, they were unable to resist at all. One after another, they were turned into fragments and merged into the ancient celestial realm, becoming a part of the demon court. However, these were all divine tools of the Great Tao. When their laws merged with the pillars of the Great Tao, they transformed on the spot. The Great Tao of Time, the Great Tao of Buddhism, the Great Tao of the Sword, the Tao of Righteousness, and so on. Shocking divine radiance erupted from the ancient celestial realm, and a powerful suction force erupted from within the ancient celestial realm. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The primordial chaos shook, and countless strands of primordial chaos roiled violently. Within the primordial chaos strands of purple chi that had been accumulating for an unknown number of years began to vibrate excitedly. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my biggest motivation. Chapter 1295. One wisp, two wisps, three wisps. In the blink of an eye, dozens of wisps of sovereign purple chi streaked across the sky from the primordial chaos, turning into purple flowing light and appearing in the demon court, drilling into the pillars of great Tao. Rumble. Immediately, one could clearly see the pillars of time transform into the precepts of time, the pillars of sword and heavenly secrets transformed into precepts. In the blink of an eye, dozens of pillars of great Tao transformed, bursting forth with incomparably noble precepts of divine brilliance. In the blink of an eye, heaven and earth expanded at a speed visible to the naked eye. The barrier between heaven and earth became incomparably strong. Even the self-destruction of unparalleled experts and the slaughter of sovereigns couldn't shake the spatial barrier. Even the four cardinal heavenly gates, the twin lotuses, the gathering clouds banner, and so on all began to transform. The demon court was transforming into the primordial chaos. When all 3,000 great Tao transformed into precepts, the entire demon court was naturally upgraded to an eonic artifact, a supreme existence that suppressed the chaos and swept across the primordial chaos. Demon God Continent. Merge into the primordial chaos. Di looked at the demon god continent beside him. There were still countless demon gods and demonic beasts on the continent. When they saw Di pointing the imperial finger at them, they all revealed a look of fear, thinking that they would be wiped out. Under Di command, the entire continent entered the demon court on the spot. In the blink of an eye, the entire continent was rapidly refined. The 3,000 great Tao merged with the great Tao in the ancient city like a tide. Immediately, a trace of demonic nature appeared in all the great Tao. As the saying went, there was no good or evil in a cultivation technique. If it was used in a righteous way, it would be righteous. This demonic nature completely made up for the deficiencies of the great Tao. The demon god continent rapidly disintegrated. Pieces of the continent were separated and merged into the 129,600 planes. Even the demon gods and demonic beasts on the continent were separated and scattered across the plains. They weren't wiped out as they had expected. Everything in the world had the right to live. This was a truth that Di naturally understood after ascending to the primordial chaos. Moreover, life was born of hardship and death and peace. Any race needed to improve, and it was impossible to do so without an enemy. The demon gods were the best enemies. Similarly, they were given an area to reproduce and survive. Even in the main cities, demon veins were born, forming demon realms. Demon gods that ascended from the 129,600 planes could enter the demon realms to cultivate. The purple gold continent and the sovereign god realm have all merged into the soaring firmament. Di didn't hesitate. He once again issued the imperial mantra to the violet gold continent. Immediately, the entire violet gold continent entered the demon court. Immediately, the entire ancient city burst into a dazzling divine radiance. The 3,000 heavenly pillars simultaneously emitted endless heavenly sounds. Countless Taoist rhymes intertwined in the void. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the primordial world, streaks of supreme being purple chi streaked across the sky like meteors. They landed in the ancient city and drilled into each of the heavenly pillars. In the blink of an eye, the 3,000 heavenly pillars transformed and advanced at the same time. The laws quickly transformed into the rules. The heavens and earth expanded violently. The 3,000 heavenly pillars grew crazily upwards. With every inch they grew, the heavens would grow taller by an inch, and the earth would grow thicker by a foot. On the ground, inches of soil would appear, forming a great earth. Incomparably hard. Not even the sovereign lord would be able to pierce through the ground. The entire demon court was also expanding crazily. With every breath, the space in the ancient city continued to expand. In the blink of an eye, it had expanded dozens, hundreds, and even thousands of times. It expanded without limit. Between the heavens and earth, a huge net of rules was interwoven. The purple eye of the heavenly Tao was crazily absorbing countless rules. It rapidly transformed into the eye of the great Tao. Rivers, suns, moons, stars, seas, mountains, and peaks. Everything between the heavens and earth was born out of thin air. At the same time, a huge heaven-reaching pagoda stood upright in the ancient city. It shone with a mysterious divine radiance. Clouds and mist filled the air, making it impossible to see its ultimate height. In the primordial world, another 1,000 streaks of supreme being purple chi descended and drilled into the pagoda. Within the pagoda, ancient Taoist rhymes flickered. In the eyes of ordinary cultivators, it was the most mysterious, supreme treasure. When the heaven-reaching pagoda appeared, it directly suppressed the entire demon court. The barrier between the heavens and earth was incomparably stable. It was as if the heavens and earth had completely merged with the heaven-reaching pagoda. It was as if it was eternal and indestructible. The void barrier was so strong that even the eternal celestial realm couldn't compare to it. 49 levels of the heaven-reaching pagoda, a forbidden supreme treasure. No one could seize the pagoda back then. It was a forbidden supreme treasure that was born together with the purple gold mainland and the demonic god mainland. But back then, it was broken before it was completed. It has never been completed. Only after entering the eternal celestial realm can it receive the primordial purple chi and complete the transformation. Tian witnessed the heaven-reaching pagoda suppressing the demon court. As the two fused, the heaven-reaching pagoda instantly strengthened countless times. Even the ancient god couldn't break through it. It was like the sea calming pagoda. The many lives on the purple gold mainland were naturally separated and fused into the various planes. They became a part of the demon court. Rumble. The demon court shone with a dazzling radiance. That ancient aura spread out from the ancient city without any concealment. The ancient city was so big that it was boundless. It didn't pale in comparison to the eternal celestial realm. A gigantic eye of the great Tao hung high in the void. Rumble. The primordial heaven and earth shook violently. Streams of primordial purple chi were sucked into the Emperor's jade archive and refined rapidly, turning into ancient yuan chi that could only be found in the eternal celestial realm. Within every strand of yuan chi, there seemed to be runes formed by the loss. Absorbing them into the body would bring unimaginable benefits. They were born with the ability to strengthen the body. Life born in such a heaven and earth would naturally have strong bodies. A majestic aura spread out from the demon court. Your Majesty, the eternal celestial realm is in ruins. But if it's devoured and refined, it will bring great benefits to the demon court. The heavenly goddess of wisdom said without hesitation. That's right. Tian wouldn't give up on the eternal celestial realm. Even if it was in ruins, the eternal celestial realm was still the eternal celestial realm. The entire demon court appeared in the sky above the eternal celestial realm. It released a powerful devouring force that swept into the demon court. Every time it devoured, the ancient city's heaven and earth expanded further. It became even more ancient. It rose to the eternal celestial realm. The power of the demon court had reached an unimaginable level. Just the 129,600 planes under it were so vast that they weren't any smaller than the purple gold mainland or the devil god mainland of the past. They were vast and boundless. Furthermore, they were still colliding, expanding, and transforming. The demon court's devouring and refining ability was undeniable. But the eternal celestial realm was simply too big. Refining it was also an extremely time-consuming task. The ancient city was changing at every moment. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. While refining the eternal celestial realm, the demon court continued to transform. From the early stage to the middle stage, and then to the late stage. At the same time, The unusually resplendent stars of various sizes hanging high in the primordial chaos abruptly shone with mysterious starlight and illuminated the Lingxiao demon court. It was as though that star had formed an inexplicable connection with the demon court. It was as though one could directly descend into the demon court from that star. That was a star of chaos. Every star was a part of the primordial void. If one came out a star of chaos without a guide, one would immediately be turned into dust by the endless primordial purple vapor. Even a sovereign was no exception. At this moment, the stars of chaos sensed that the demon court had ascended to the eternal celestial realm, replacing the eternal celestial realm as the supreme celestial realm in the primordial void. Immediately, they formed a connection with the demon court. With this connection, any expert who ascended to the sovereign level in the primordial void would be able to ascend to the demon court through this connection, opening a path to the heavens. It was a great merit. Rumble. At this moment, the void outside the demon court began to distort. A majestic aura surged toward them like a tidal wave. Even the heavenly goddess of wisdom and the others felt a strong sense of suffocation. What appeared before his eyes was a vast and boundless group of islands. This group of islands was extremely numerous. In the shape of a pyramid, there were 9 layers stacked on top of each other. The lowest layer had the largest number of islands, numbering in the tens of millions. Moreover, each island seemed to have an inexplicable function. It was as though they were a divine artifact with an inexplicable charm. They were connected together in a mysterious trajectory. They weren't stationary, but they were moving in a strange trajectory. Carefree islands. The heavenly goddess of wisdom cried out in surprise. Looking at the 9 huge divine rings protecting the archipelago, one could faintly see that at the top there was a vast and boundless island. On the island, a young man in a long green robe slowly walked through the air. He walked step by step toward Dishirtian as though he was walking on flat ground. A kind of boundless and unfettered will naturally emanated from him. Scholar, we finally meet again. Dishirtian's eyes flashed when he saw the newcomer. It was only at this moment that he realized the true cultivation level of this scholar carefree in front of him. He was a peak ancient master. Only he, who was also in the late ancient master realm, could see his cultivation level clearly. It was indeed indescribable. Haha, what a great monster emperor, what a great Indra. You were able to lead the monster race all this way, rising up from the decline and finally reaching the peak, becoming a monarch of a generation. Brother Shirtian, it wasn't a fluke that you were able to obtain the taboo, divine embryo I left behind and become the supreme Tao fruit of the Lord of Time. You are very good. Carefree Scholar walked over step by step and said slowly with a gentle smile on his face, "Thank you, Scholar, for granting my wish." Dishirtian wasn't surprised by the origin of the 9 tombstones. Only this person in front of him had the ability to divide the divine fetus into 9 parts and refine them into 9 tombstones. No need to be so polite. This is your opportunity. An opportunity isn't given by anyone. It is fought for by oneself. It can't be given. If you don't have the strength, how can you be recognized by the forbidden divine fetus? In the end, you will fuse with it and become an ancient master. Scholar Carefree smiled and said, "Moreover, your temperament, comprehension, and conviction are outstanding in all heavens." He was able to create the Extreme King's Book of Shocking World, which is an unparalleled skill. May I ask, Scholar, are you really the one who divided the forbidden divine fetus? The goddess of wisdom couldn't help but ask. That's right. Scholar Carefree nodded without denying it and told her the secret of the past. The reason for the battle back then was because of the forbidden divine fetus. Primordial chaos was full of mysteries and often gave birth to unimaginable treasures. However, the treasures born in primordial chaos were so rare that they could be counted on one's fingers. There might not even be one born in hundreds of millions of years. The treasures born in primordial chaos were called forbidden treasures because each of these treasures could be said to have forbidden power. It was extraordinarily terrifying. Even if a ruler had a forbidden treasure in hand, he would be able to fight against the god Ancient Times. As for the god Ancient One, there was a possibility that he could make use of a forbidden utmost treasure to raise his fighting strength to an even higher level. However, the forbidden divine fetus was the only supreme treasure that could raise a god Ancient Times to the level of an ancient lord. Once it was born, it immediately triggered a series of earth-shattering battles that affected the entire ancient heaven realm. Almost all the gods of ancient times were swept into it. A battle between rulers could shatter the primordial chaos. One could only imagine the destructive power of the god Ancient One's rampage. Even the eternal heaven world was reduced to a pile of rubble in the face of this relentless slaughter. Among them, 9 gods of ancient times who were said to be undying and indestructible fell. In the ancient heaven realm, the people had no way of making a living. In the end, it alerted Scholar Carefree, who lived in the Carefree Islands. Seeing the tragic state of the ancient heaven realm, even Scholar Carefree couldn't bear to see it. In the end, he separated the fighting cultivators and used his supreme mystique to send all the remaining lives in the ancient heaven realm into the various primordial chaos. It allowed them to recuperate. As for the corpses of the 9 gods of ancient times, they were collected by him. With his supreme mystique, he created 9 divine tombs and buried their great Daos within, leaving behind their inheritances. The 9 gods of ancient times had perished because they fought for the forbidden divine fetus. Scholar Carefree felt pity for them and divided the divine fetus into 9 pieces, turning them into tombstones that would accompany the divine tombs for eternity. This could be considered as a sort of invisible consolation for them as they fought for the divine fetus. And these tombstones, in the end, helped D. Shurtion achieve his goal. So that's how it is. Saint Skymander and the others had already been eliminated from the primordial chaos and hadn't personally witnessed the final battle. As they listened to Scholar Carefree's explanation, they couldn't help but feel some lingering fear. That battle had been far too tragic. Ho, Brother D, once your demon court has completely transformed, let's meet again at Carefree Island. Scholar Carefree suddenly said as he looked up at the demon court. After he finished speaking, he turned and returned to Carefree Island. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The demon court had thoroughly swallowed and refined the entire ancient heaven realm. The entire ancient city had undergone earth-shaking changes. It had risen to the supreme peak of the ancient level. D. Shurtion took a step forward and appeared in the demon court. He looked at the changes in the demon court. The heavens and earth were boundless. Even the gods of ancient times found it difficult to know where the boundaries were. It was enough to accommodate trillions of lives. But he knew that the current situation couldn't be considered a complete ancient divine artifact. Standing in the void, his mouth naturally carried the Supreme Emperor's might as he spoke. I say, the heavens are vast and can accommodate all races. The demon court shall be renamed the High Firmament Imperial Court. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The eye of the great Tao emitted heavenly sounds as if it was celebrating. D. Shurtion didn't stop there. He continued, as long as the heavens and earth have reincarnation, there will be a place for reincarnation in the heavenly court. There will be a netherworld. As his voice faded, in the void below the high firmament imperial court, a vast and boundless dark world was born out of thin air. Inside, it was filled with ghastly terror. Hell's Gate, Bridge of Helplessness, Huang Quan Holy River, Yama Palace, Reincarnation Palace, and other buildings rose from the ground. It was as if they grew directly from the ground. Dark. D. Shurtion waved his hand, and a blood dragon broke through the void between his brows. In the void, it turned into an evil youth in a blood robe. You have followed me for many years. Today, I bestow upon you the Lord of the Netherworld, the position of King Yama, and the master of the 6 paths of reincarnation. I bestow upon you the sovereign God pill. Those who die in the high firmament imperial court must enter the cycle of reincarnation. You may go. Haha. Thank you, your majesty. In front of all living beings, Dark respectfully bowed and thanked. He received the sovereign god pill with an excited expression. The heavens are virtuous, and the great Tao is a glimmer of life. All living beings in the primordial world, as long as they become rulers, can enter the high firmament imperial court, blessing all living beings. Di Shirtian's voice was not limited to the high firmament imperial court. It was directly transmitted to countless chaotic stars. The living beings in them could clearly hear this emperor's words. Some rulers heard it and felt a sense of excitement. They directly planned to ascend to the heavenly court. There are 9 levels of heaven. The high firmament palace and jade pool are located above the 9 levels of heaven. All subjects of the heavenly court can live in the 9 levels of heaven. As subjects of the heavenly court, they will record the divine records and be immortal. As soon as his voice fell, in the void of the high firmament imperial court, 9 ripples flashed and 9 layers of clouds flashed out of thin air. The high firmament palace and jade pool rose from the ground. Above the 9 levels of heaven, the emperor's orders were passed down. The entire high firmament imperial court operated at high speed and entered a stable state of development. The heavenly court was stabilized. Then, the subjects were conferred and the rulers were rewarded. Everything was carried out in an orderly manner. After a full 9 days, Di Shirtian set foot on the carefree islands with his 4 beautiful wives in the heavenly court. The subjects worked hard and operated in an orderly manner. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of millions of years passed. In the primordial world, the legendary journey of the ancestor of all demons was still being passed down endlessly. The finale, author small words. Back in the day, I started to write about the myriad demons. Until now, it has been nearly 2 years. All kinds of ups and downs are really hard to say. Writing a book is not an easy job. Since I started writing, except for when I took a break during the new year, I have never stopped updating. At least 2 chapters a day, rain or shine. I ask myself, I have never abandoned my professional integrity as a writer. I believe that my moral quality is still very strong. Other people can rest on weekends, but I have to update. Others can rest on holidays, but I still have to update. It's indeed very tiring. Also, to be honest with you all, Thousand Goblins at Chidian has a very low number of official subscriptions, and it doesn't even make it into the premium section. However, I've never asked for subscriptions. I've always believed that if I write well, then I'll naturally have subscriptions to support it. Heh, it seems that my way of thinking is wrong. To be honest, the low number of subscriptions is indeed a blow to my passion. Many times, I feel tired and have no passion, so I might as well take a break. When I write to the climax, I don't have enough passion to stimulate my emotions. It is a very sad thing. Haha, of course, there are many brothers and sisters who are silently supporting me. I have always been very grateful. Without your support, I might not have been able to persevere until now. For nearly 1,000 days and nights, it was you who accompanied me. We accompanied the growth of the myriad demons together. I don't deny that the myriad demons has many flaws and loopholes. However, no matter what, it is time for the myriad demons to come to an end. Although I am very reluctant, I still have to say the finale. The myriad demons is officially finished. Every book is a battle. The end of the myriad demons is just the end of one battle and the beginning of a new battle. After the myriad demons is finished, I will rest for 2 days. The new book will be officially released on the 3rd of March. I have already signed the contract. I hope that in the new battle, I can see all my brothers and sisters who have gone through thick and thin with the myriad demons. On the 3rd of March, I hope that all my brothers and sisters will come to collect the Drifting Book of the Year. Brothers, let's meet again on the 3rd of March. To be continued. If you like this book, you're welcome to come to Chidian. Come to vote for me. Your support is my greatest motivation. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.